listen to me. Like, why would he do that?
Yeah,
He doesn't have
exactly.
to do that.
Like,
He doesn't have to do that.
and so this is where it gets like where I can get annoyed. So there's a point, and I think this is towards in Naruto Shippuden, to where this motherfucker is like just sitting on on Madara's head in the Valley of the End, and just sitting there doing nothing, bro. And I'm like, bro, like, you lazy motherfucker, like, you're so powerful and strong. What are you doing? Get up and go do shit, like. And I believe this is also towards the point where Itachi was even dead. I have to go back. I don't remember, but I believe this is even when like Itachi was dead, and he's just over here.
No, I know when that is. That is when Jiraiya is talking about Madara with the frog, and Itachi is still alive at it.
Oh, okay, so Itachi. Okay, that's fine.
It's before he fights Pain.
Yeah, but either way though, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not fucking doing anything, And I'm like, bro, like, fucking move and go do something, you lazy motherfucker, Like, he's so goddamn strong, and this man, like, could be doing like so much, but he's just like, nah, let me just kind of sit around and let everybody else do all the work for me, and hey, I'm Obito, whatever, fuck life and I hate life, and I'm like, this fucking guy, so that shit annoys me. And then there's like,
he's still the leader, dude. Like, he has the fucking people for that. That's why he fucking did all the things that he did with the Akatsuki. That's why he fucking did it.
True, but at the same time, he could still be doing things that could really make a big impact. You know what I mean? Like, he could have been killing. He could have been capturing the Kage without anyone knowing that it was him, because they didn't really know he was an actual thing until he appeared at the 5 Kage summit. You know what I mean? Like, he could have been capturing Kage. He could have been, doing so much shit. Like, things would have been crazy easy if he was actually getting his hands dirty. But, he wasn't. But see, where it gets even worse for me, and once again, I'm going to eventually go back through it, and whatnot, and then the video will come out and I'll be able to really lay it all out. I'm just kind of going off my memory and what I know.
Watching that.
What's it called? But literally, there's a point where I know for a fact that Tachi's dead at this point. This is when Sasuke gets his Mangekyo Sharingan. He was crying at the beach after learning the truth and everything, and all this other shit. And that's when Obito starts manipulating him. And there's a point where this motherfucker appears behind Naruto, and he's like, "Hey." And Naruto's like, "Oh shit," and then immediately like whips out a Rasengan. And that shit pissed me off, bro. Don't get me wrong. It was like, seeing it and everything and whatnot, it was great. It was amazing. I loved it, whatever. But when you really look at it and kind of analyze that scene, you're like, wait a minute. This motherfucker was behind Naruto the whole time and could have captured him. And he didn't do shit.
Yeah, he didn't.
Like, he just wanted to fucking talk with the guy because he was so butthurt that Nagato betrayed him.
Yeah, his interest.
Yeah, he was very interested, and he was kind of butthurt. So I'm gonna go over the reality aspect of it. You okay? Yeah, it kind of died. I was paying attention though. Just so you know, you gotta charge it. Well, how'd you turn it on? How'd you turn it on?
I hit the power button.
I hit that thing.
You have to hold it.
That's why then. Anyways, but like freaking. One thing, what I was gonna say, I'll talk about the good first. For one, overall, that whole thing and everything was great. I loved it. I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? It was awesome. It was really cool. And when you really look at it, the reason why I can understand why he kind of did that is because at the end of the day, the way Obito is he's kind of like a character where obviously, he's already fallen in darkness. He's going to be doing his thing and do whatever and you name it. But he's still it's like he's still in like a conflicting, state. You know what I mean? Like he's still kind of conflicted with things. I don't know.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know if you ever get those vibes from him. Because like when you analyze him it's clearly shown too. Yeah, when you like see everything like and you actually get to see like behind the scenes.
Actually, that's another thing. Like, let me stop for a second. Like, it was Naruto, dude. So of course he's gonna do that.
Yeah, and that too. And then, but like, what was really interesting is like because when we first see Obito and everything, it's nothing but mystery, lore, and then and then we find out that this guy's like Madara, like oh shit, whatever. But then, and then it was a whole thing where people were like trying to guess who he actually really is, and some people actually thought he's not Madara or whatever. Some people thought he was, whatever. But that's what we're kind of getting, right? And then when we get to the war, where we find out who he actually is, there's a certain, I don't think it was shown in the manga, but I think it was shown in the anime, where it's actually showing Obito's thoughts, like what he's thinking when he's at certain points and moments of the Naruto story. And it's really interesting and crazy because it's clearly showing. You alright? Mm-hmm. Oh. It's clearly showing that he's either conflicted or he's still emotional or he's still kind of trying to evaluate like what he should do or not. So it's really interesting.
Not when he's shown. Like, it's not when he's shown, it's when they're fighting him as Jubito.
Yeah, exactly. And like, yeah, it's doing all of that and everything. And overall, like what happens is, that was really interesting to me because you kind of get to see, like, similar with Itachi, how Itachi was pulling that whole act and everything and yada yada. But then when it shows him again, it, like, for instance, like that one moment where he goes back to the village, when it first showed it in part 1, it doesn't show like his actual thoughts and everything. It just shows him, like as a villain, whatever, the bad guy, yada yada. But when you actually get to see it way in Shippuden, his first thoughts in his head that he says, he's like, "I hope you're safe, Sasuke," blah blah, and this and that. It's that type of shit that you're kind of getting with Obito instead. You know what I mean? So with that, you kind of get to grasp more about him, know more about him. So when he appears with Naruto, to me, it actually is something that is kind of in character, especially when you do analyze the character of Obito. And for 2, that also put a dent in his plan because I believe Obito kind of explains it briefly in the war to where he's like, what the whole purpose of what Nagato was going to do to begin with, to bring back Madara. You know what I mean? With his Rinnegan and trade his life and then go from there. But since that didn't happen, that obviously, caused problems and etc. So overall, like, I could understand why that kind of made him butthurt and why he was kind of, like, all right, and kind of going about that and just want to talk to Naruto. And then not only that, like, he was like, how the fuck did you convince Nagato to betray me? You know what I mean? Like, he's like, that man was set in stone in his ways. Like, even if it was me telling him what to do, he wouldn't put up with my shit. Like, how did you do it? Like, and so that's the main thing. So I understand it, and it's fine, and it's great. But when you really look at it, and you want to kind of be petty about it, or like realistically look at it, if I'm being really honest with you, at that point and moment, he could have talked with Naruto, but not there how he did it. He could have just kidnapped Naruto, and that's it. True. He could have just Kamui'd him. He's not Minato, so he can't just fly in Raijin out of that shit, okay? He could have just Kamui'd him at that point of moment, and bam, the Nine Tails is captured, and then have that fucking conversation, etc. You know what I mean? But instead...
Yeah, but there was another important thing there. That moment was also used for Naruto, Kakashi, and Yamato to learn the fucking truth about Itachi.
True, yeah, he was kind of... So, but, and then you have that, which...
Because Obito was explaining the whole fucking, what's it fucking called? The thing that Sasuke and Naruto have.
Yeah.
About the Sage of Six Pairs, like there's his sons, Ashura and Indra.
Yeah, and he was talking about all that. He was kind of trying to pull like a philosophy lesson, and then also give them the truth to kind of see how they would react and see if that can cause like turmoil or chaos in the village. I feel like that was the main.
Also tell Naruto that he's gonna fucking send Sasuke after him.
Yeah, and that too, and everything. So like, it does make sense when you do look at it in that aspect and levels, but at the same time, that's still so risky. You know what I mean? Like, that's still so like, like if you really look at it, okay, it would make a lot more sense just to be on the safe side of things, speed the process up and everything, and to not have to worry about anything instead of just kind of. It was like if Obito wanted to play a video game, you know what I mean? Like, he's just kind of having fun and doing what he wants, Yeah, and it's like, that's fine and cool, great, but like okay. but at that point and moment, if he just decided to just take Naruto, and even with Kakashi and fucking Yamato being there, like even if they were there, I don't even think that would have been enough for you know what I mean, for them to be able to deal with Obito if he still wanted Naruto. You know, I still feel like he would have been able to. Yeah, to take Naruto, Kakashi has Kamui and everything, but literally, like, there's a point where Kakashi goes to use Kamui on Obito. He's like, "I'll get rid of Madara right here and now," after using it on Sasuke, and then Obito just points his hand out, and he's like, "Hey, like that won't work on me. Stop." You know what I mean? You're wasting
that's what I
it.
was talking about. He's gonna fucking neg that.
He'll just neg it or whatever. So meaning Kakashi would have to do what he did in the war and all that, which that's fine and all, but I don't even think it would get to that point because, you know, in the war arc, it's kind of like it's different. You know what I mean? Everyone kind of has like these mental amps. You know what I mean? They're all trying to fight for peace and to win. You name it. And at that point, you know, Kakashi, you know, what I mean, like he's giving it his all. You know what I mean? Like he's doing whatever he can, thinking whatever, using his intelligence. So it's like even if they were to start fighting him and going, you know what I mean? It's questionable if Kakashi wouldn't even try to utilize the Kamui strategy like he did in the war to deal with Obito. And to where he would just think it's not useful at all, and like, how do they fight him now? You know what I mean? Like, it could kind of go that, you know, type of way. But if you want to say, oh no, it would just be the same as they did in the war, that's fine, and maybe that can cause issues with Obito, or whatever. But I don't know. The way I see it is, if it came down to it, Obito could have taken Naruto without even having to fight them either. And even if he had a fight with them, you know, he could have figured out some way to just at least take Naruto. You know what I mean? And whatnot, and go from there. Like, could Kakashi maybe be able to stop it with Yamato and with his combo and everything? And if he utilized the same strategy, sure. And then Obito would just retreat and leave. But overall, that's not really the point. I'm not going to get into that. You know, but that's another point that kind of like, it was like, bro, like, you know what I mean? Like, that would have just solved so much from that point. You know what I mean? Like, there would have been no Naruto.
Why he didn't do that?
Yeah, there would have been no Naruto, no KCM, saving the day, all this other shit, you name it. So, like, I don't know. There's just points where Obito just does certain things, and it's like, at the same time, I understand, and it does make sense. But then again, with how smart he is, with everything Madara taught him, and you name it, like, better yet, if it was Madara wouldn't be doing the shit he was doing, bro. He'd just be speeding it up, you know? Like, he would either be doing it...
Madara. You know Madara.
No, I know, but he would either be, like, speeding it up. For one, he'd either be doing it himself, or two, okay, he wouldn't be playing around how Obito plays around or just sitting back behind the scenes, you know?
Oh, of course not, yeah.
You know, like, so it's like... So overall, you know what I mean? And so if it was like Madara, like actually Madara, things would have been over a long fucking time ago. Like, not even because of, like, just how powerful, just because of how smart Madara is, and how he strategizes, and he doesn't have time for bullshit. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he just wants to initiate his plan. You know?
But
and that
also plays around sometimes.
True. Yeah. Like, if he has someone to give him, you know, fun or whatever, it's, you know, that's, why not? You know, I would do the same too.
Yeah, but Hashirama wouldn't be there. At that
exactly,
point.
And no one would really kind of be around to kind of even give him a run for his money either. Like, you know, Guy would be the only one, but, you know, but like, fucking, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, that's just that, you know, and it is what it is. And the main thing with Madara is, you know, like, and this is even kind of comes out in the war too, like, Madara, like, just even talk shit to Obito. He's like, hey, like, you kind of pissed me off, bro. Like, you're supposed to bring me back with the Rinnegan, all this other shit. Everything should have been taken care of. What took you so long, and why were you struggling, bro? You know? And then Obito kind of talks his shit back and basically tells him to shut up, and you're at, like, my will, blah, blah, and this and that, yada, yada. So suck it up, Buttercup. And that's kind of like what he says back to him. And then you have even Zetsu at a certain point kind of talking shit, and he's like, hey, like, that's really impressive. It took Obito all these years to get where he was at. But for you, it only took, like, you know, minutes or whatever, you know?
Madara then says, like, don't compare me to that brat.
Yeah, literally. So, but overall, you know, so anyways, overall...
Okay, so the narrative is behind us, so you can move on to the fucking scaling now.
Yeah, so, but that's kind of just that, you know, but that's why it always pissed me off with Obito, because, you know, there's just certain things where it's just like, come on, bro, you know? Like, what are you doing? Anyways, alright. But anyways, so with the feats and everything and all that, so this is the thing, like, when you look at the character Obito, you know, and you look at all the points where he actually decides to fight, okay?
Yep.
You know, it's interesting because the first time we ever get to kind of see him do shit is obviously the Uchiha massacre incident, and he's just kind of slaughtering whatever. Cool, great, you know, whatever. Then you see him against Minato, okay? And that was a really awesome fight. It was great. It was cool. And basically,
chronologically it's before that, but
yeah, true. So that would have to be the first one. But so you get to see that and everything. Actually, no, if I'm really being, I'm being an idiot. So if you go back, okay, the first time he actually starts to get his hands dirty was when he went to assassinate the Fire Lord. And Itachi was there along with someone else, and then like the Anbu and Kakashi as well. And Obito kind of shows up and places everyone in Genjutsu, but Itachi was the only one that was unaffected by it. And then
the other guy, right?
Yeah, and the Genjutsu specialist, he broke out of that shit, which is really impressive.
Yeah, but Obito killed him.
Yeah, but Obito kills him, and then Itachi would have most definitely died. But what happened is
wait, dude. Just let me stop you there for a second. If you really go back, then the first time would be against the fucking Mist Ninja, right? When Rain died.
Yeah, true. So yeah, with the Mist Ninja. Okay, so let me backtrack. I'm being a fucking ding dong. So yeah, you have the Mist Ninja, which he's just fucking enraged and he's just slaughtering people. That motherfucker is just a beast. Okay. He was going and doing his thing. What style, Kamui, you name it. Okay, and that was that. Then you have to that point where I was talking about, and this is where it gets interesting.
Oh, then Minato, and then this.
Yeah. So, but even before that. So it gets interesting with Obito because when he pulls up, he places everyone in Genjutsu, which is insane because he didn't, like he's not even establishing eye contact or anything. He's just places them all in Genjutsu. So you could assume he's either enhancing a type of Genjutsu with hand signs with his Sharingan, or he's just using hand signs and didn't cast a Genjutsu. So he puts everyone in Genjutsu, and that happens, and then Itachi's unaffected. The other guy breaks out of it, kills him, whatever. All that shit happens, and then basically what happens is Kakashi's able to break out of it eventually, breaks all the Anbu out.
Itachi, right? Or wait. Weren't we talking about the fucking incident with Itachi, or did you move on from that?
Yeah, I'm talking about the incident with Itachi.
But you said Kakashi.
Yeah. Kakashi was there too. So he was part of the Anbu squad to basically they're kind of behind the scenes to look after them just in case if shit does hit the fan. Yeah. They were there
or something.
No,
he wasn't there on the scene because I remember a fucking filler episode where Obito pulled.
Yeah, where the filler episode it even shows that too. So where this originated from was from the novel. It was from a type of Itachi novel, whatever, to where it kind of shows how Itachi awakened his Sharingan. And
that guy was killed.
Yeah, and Kakashi and all of them were there. But they weren't like there. They were just kind of sitting back watching them from the shadows, if that makes any sense. And then Obito kind of pulls up like being Toby, basically, like all, silly and stupid. And basically, that's why they were all like kind of not really on guard or anything. And then he takes advantage of that and places them all in Genjutsu. And then once all that shit happens and that one guy is killed and he's about to kill Itachi, okay, because Itachi was about to make a move on Obito. That's when Kakashi was able to eventually break out of his Genjutsu, which at the end of the day, we don't really know. It doesn't state or specify. I would have to look back. I don't think it does. But it doesn't state or specify how he did the Genjutsu. We know it wasn't obviously eye contact, but we don't know if he either enhanced it with his Sharingan or if he just did a normal Genjutsu. We don't fucking know. But anyways, so that's why I'm not really going to say, oh, that's really impressive for Kakashi or Itachi or whatever, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. But if Kakashi gets out...
I would lean towards a normal Genjutsu.
Yeah.
If he did it with the fucking Sharingan, they're not breaking out of that. You fucking can't convince me otherwise.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
Remember when he did it on Yagura?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And he was like a puppet. So,
exactly.
No way.
Yeah, so then Kakashi is able to get out. He gets all his Anbu members out of Genjutsu, and they immediately are charging forward to go prevent any more damage or to see at least what's going on because they weren't really sure where it happened. They just got put in Genjutsu and they're like, all right, let's go see what's happening, And before that even gets to that point and they get there, Obito's just gone. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This is, a little bit back to the whole narrative thing too, but I'm not going to really make it on that. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because at that point, I'm going to be very real with you. You're not going to tell me Obito would not have been able to kill all of them if he didn't want to. If Obito wanted to, bro, he could have killed all of them right there and then. But instead, the motherfucker left, which that didn't really make sense to me. But whatever. I'm going to look beyond it. I'm not going to talk about that right now. But that's what happens from there, right? Then you have the next point, which is with Minato, with the whole Nine Tails and everything, which is pretty fucking crazy.
It is.
To where that's all going down and everything, and then Minato kind of pulls, like, uses his intelligence and comes up immediately with a counter strategy, exactly what, Itachi can do as well, or any other character that's also has that same level of intelligence, which there's only a few ones that are, in my opinion, if we're being real, the main characters that are probably the most intelligent characters would be Itachi, Minato. I'm not saying this in order, like who's the smartest, but it'd be like Itachi, Minato, Kakashi, obviously Shikamaru, his dad, Kakashi's dad. People along that line of intelligence, they're no joke.
Yeah.
They have clearly the capability to look at someone, analyze, deduce a strategy, a counter method to beat them, and go from there. Whatever. Yeah. So, anyways, Minato does that. He's able to deal with Kamui. Cool, great. Okay, and all he does is basically he takes advantage of the point where Obito has to materialize in order to, to inflict damage in Kamui. You know what I mean? So that's all he does, and he just uses Flying Raijin to exploit that interval of time, and bam, and lands a move, stops the Nine Tails and all. We all know what happens, okay? So there's that point. Then you have, where Obito kind of goes on furthermore to where, that whole Mizukage thing where he's manipulating the fucking guy like he's using Kodo Matsukami, okay, without him even knowing, which is insane. So that's a pretty crazy Genjutsu feat for Obito. You have that point, and then you have to the point where Obito kind of comes back to kind of play around. This is when he's Orange Mask Obito. Okay. Yep. Well, one thing I skipped was the Chia massacre incident, but that's kind of irrelevant. We don't. There's not really whatever, it happened. So now we have the Orange Mask, and then basically with Orange Mask, when we finally get to see him do some shit, it's I think it was with Datara, right?
When he was
Sasuke? Did that happen first, or did the Three Tails incident happen first?
Wait, what's the fucking Three Tails incident?
It was in the manga and it was in the anime.
Oh, it's
where he was with Datara to take down the Three Tails. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Three Tails was first. Then
okay. So the Three Tails happens, which we don't get to see a whole lot. We just kind of see some statements, some talking, then it does time skips. And then basically Toby and Data are arguing with each other like, no, I'm the reason why he got taken down. And Data was like, no, I did it. And then it goes whatever, And then that was that. So
actually, funny that you mentioned that because there is one important thing there. It's a filler arc, but there is one thing I want to mention.
It was in the manga too.
Oh yeah, but it's not considered canon for some reason. It's not actually considered canon. And if you look at the fucking websites and shit, it's just not showed there as a canon arc. Okay. And nobody watches it.
Yeah, and that's fine too, but like, the only reason why I was saying it's not really...
I watched.
Yeah, I watched too. I watched all of it. Yeah, I watched every single thing. And to me, the only reason why I do that is, for one, it gives you more information. For two, it is important. It is, that, and then it is important in a sense. And the reason why I'll say that is because... especially at that moment in the manga, it actually does briefly show that as well. It doesn't show like all the stuff that happened before, but it does show the points with Datara and Obito kind of doing their thing to where they're like around and talking, and they dealt with the Three Tails. That does happen.
But the one thing I wanted to mention is before all this happens, Obito just does his thing as he always does, as you said, like watching from the shadows and doing that. So he does it here, and he just he stays between the trees in the forest. He's watching the whole thing happening, and it's the first time you ever hear his real voice. Not
exactly.
Real voice. And I was like, yeah, who the fuck is this guy?
Right? But see, and that's what I'm saying, like, and then I'm going to respond to that whole canon thing. I get why people can say, oh, it's not canon, blah, blah, or it's filler, whatever, this and that. But at the same time, it's like, what people really forget is, for one, it still has a connection to the manga as well, okay, which everybody's all up for, and like, oh yeah, that's canon, right? And for two, okay, Kishimoto is still involved with that. You know what I mean? Like, he looks over it, the production of it. Obviously, it's not him making the fucking anime, but it's him working with them, looking over it, supervising, like, you know what? Yeah, that's great. Fine. Awesome. I love it. Cool. And so it's like, it's really weird for people to just immediately dismiss that stuff and not even utilize it, whether if it is for arguments or debates or overall just to establish more character lore or background or even scaling, because it's just really dumb. Like, it's one thing for us to have a filler arc and it has nothing to do with, it's just there and it's stupid. You know what I mean? And like, who the fuck cares? Yeah, great. If you don't get it, whatever. But
I don't think I've ever seen anything worse than the fucking Naruto mech shit. Like,
Yeah.
oh my fucking.
Yeah, literally, so it's not like to that extreme, or better yet, it's not even to the point where it's like showing it's not even showing a contradiction to anything either. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's not even showing a contradiction to anything either. Like, that's another thing. Like, let's say, you see something in the manga, and then in the anime something happens, but it completely contradicts what was in the manga. That's understandable. You know what I mean? That makes sense. It's like, yeah, that's really dumb, whatever, this and that. So, I'm not going to get into it, but when it comes to the whole canon thing, it depends what it is and what you're looking in the context of it. Kind of similar with the statements.
Yeah, analyze it,
Exactly. So when it comes to that...
And,
yeah, so when it comes to that, and when we're looking at that and everything, to me, I'm still looking at that as of canon and etc. And the main reason why is because, not only is there their connection to the manga, but it's literally Kishimoto went over and everything too. And 3, it's something that's not out of this world, and it's something very believable, and it's fucking there, and it's just more information and detail to obtain. That's all. That's all it is. It's not like it's just, completely trying to cancel something else out or contradict or whatever. So that's why I'm fine with it. But anyways, but what happens is that happens, what's really interesting to me from that point with Obito is how they're kind of arguing to each other. I'm going to be real with you. I don't think Datara was the one that fucking beat that Three Tails. I really do believe that it was actually Toby with him saying that he dealt with it with all his explosions and everything. You know what I mean? And the only reason why is because, like, they're arguing about it, and they work together to fight the Three Tails. And then Toby comes out and he's like, he kind of like insults him but gets serious at the same time. And then Datara just gets mad and then, like rage quit mode and fucking just shoots an explosion at him, and then it's like a comical moment, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, I actually think that is actually good for, not for Datara, but for Obito, because if we're being real, if you really look at the two characters, if it really came down to it for someone to be able to take on a full transformation tail beast, it's very believable for Obito to be able to pull that off. Not really someone like Datara. Datara is strong and he's powerful, but we've never seen him use an explosion to just completely shit on a full transformation tail beast. You know what I mean?
He didn't fucking shit on it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, he just was helping Toby, and they were doing things, and they eventually were able to take it out.
But I never took it that Obito was actually serious there. I'm gonna be real with you. Like, it was a comical moment.
Well, yeah, true, but there was a moment before. I had to look in the manga or pull it up, or even, I think it's even in the anime, to where, like, he actually gets just brief, like a short moment, to where he kind of roasts him at the same time. He's like, you know what, for all that talking about this and that, I forgot exactly what he says, but basically what the implication is like, that was me, bro, like, get over it, stop bitching about it. You know what I mean? And then Datara gets mad and rage quits and, does what he does, and that was it. But it was like a tiny moment of him kind of being serious. He's like, hey, like, whatever, get over it, And then it goes back to him being his silly, comical self, which, I'm going to be real with you, I love that version of Obito. It was fucking funny as shit. But yeah, so...
But does this matter a lot? Like, it doesn't, right? Like, this isn't an important thing.
No, not super important yet. I'm just kind of bringing it up, all the points we get to see him. Where it really... Where it really does start to get important is when we get to see him, what's it called? When it gets to when he's going up against Danzo, and he's about to let Sasuke fight Danzo. Correct. This is where you actually kind of get to see him do some shit. Okay, and it's interesting.
Still nothing compared to the later.
Yeah, it's still interesting though, because this is like the first time you kind of get to see Obito being a little serious, and having to fight and do his thing. Because the last time we really got to see that was when he was fighting against Minato, which obviously that was more extreme and serious, like a death battle, basically. Yeah, but this is kind of like a second moment of that. Not really, but it is at the same time, because Danzo was there, and he's getting ready to fight Madara, literally. He's like, all right, bet, we're going to fight and take him out. and then he has like those two Anbu level shinobi or whatever, which I'm not really going to get into the whole scaling with them. But what I will say is it's interesting because when Obito starts fighting those two, because he just fights them and then eventually he's able to bring. Oh, I think that's what it was. Sasuke was still getting healed or something from Karen, so he wasn't able to bring him out yet. Yeah. Okay, so what happens is they charge at him, right? And I'm gonna be real with you. Like, let's say we never got to see Obito and those two fight, right? And then someone, for some unknown reason, was like, "What if it was Danzo's two henchmen fighting against Obito?" Everyone would just be like, "Oh yeah, Speed Blitz Kamui," right? Which is basically what happens in that fight. They get Kamui'd, but it wasn't like a Speed Blitz, which is really interesting to me because when they fight him, I was expecting him to just him immediately. That's it, done. You know, but instead,
I actually wasn't. I was like, yeah, he's gonna fuck around for sure because these two aren't like the strongest. They're not on his level. He's not gonna be that serious, and it's exactly what happened.
Yeah, so
it's exactly.
But it was interesting though because when they start fighting him and going at it, they're basically fighting against him. He's fighting using Kamui, whatever, and you know it's not like they immediately get fucked or anything. Then they're kind of like using teamwork, deducing on how to deal with his ability. They realize how it works right off the bat. And then basically what happens from there is Obito just kind of pulls like a trick moment to where he made it seem like he was going to fucking hit him, but he did it. And then, you know, their own teamwork kind of fucks him over, you know, which I thought was very funny.
It was cool. I liked that moment a lot.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool. But overall, the fact that they were still able to, like, you know, make Obito had to briefly just do something, you know, like that, I thought was pretty impressive. And the only reason why is because we all know how powerful Obito is. You know what I mean? Like, I was really, at least for me, I was expecting him to just deal with them at ease and instantly calm or just dead. You know what I mean? But that wasn't really the case. And it took him a bit. Then he kind of, you know, pulls an IQ move, tricks them. They play themselves. And then from that point, he Kamui's one of them. Okay. I can't remember how exactly led up to that point, but he Kamui'd him. And, oh, no, that's what happened. He appeared behind him. He went to slice his head. And then, like, it went through him, and then he grabbed him, and then he just Kamui'd him. That's what happened. Anyways, and then what happens is, then he goes underground, which I thought was so fucking cool. Goes underground, and then comes back up and appears behind the other guy, and then starts Kamui'ing him. But he got injured at the same time, because obviously what we know, which is even more proof, that in order for him to Kamui someone, he has to be vulnerable to attack, you know? So, which is why the insects were able to damage him, which is something important to note. It wasn't because the guy was able to land attack, but Obito's like, yeah, whatever, fuck it. If I get hit by the insects and I lose an arm, I always lose an arm, right? I'm gonna be real with you. Like, I think the guy lost his arm like fucking like 4 or 5 times in the show. Anyways, but that happens, right? And then Danzo's like, all right, cool. I kind of seen how he can fight, whatever. I'm gonna get ready to fight this guy. And then Obito's like, I'm not really going to fight you. I'm going to fight against, you're going to fight against Sasuke. I have like a present for you. And it goes from there. So that's that moment.
Watch, yeah.
So that's that. Then you see the Conan fight. Okay. And this, and this, which I'm going to be real with you, I thought it was a pretty cool fight. It was pretty cool. I did enjoy it a lot. It was obviously went as how I expected it to go. I highly, highly fucking doubt she was going to beat him. But then, like, as things kept progressing, like, I'm going to be real with you. Like, a lot of people shit on Conan, because of the whole Jiraiya thing. But what people really don't understand is, for one, that's her fucking sensei. And he literally knows everything about her. And two, her weakness is oil. And the one guy that can use oil is fucking Jiraiya. So yeah, she kind of gets fucked. Whatever, who cares? But, like, when it shows her against Obito, which we all know that Jiraiya is not stronger than Obito. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's not. And the fact that...
Before we get into this, if I may, I'm going to go back for a bit.
Yeah.
I know you were talking now, but I'm just going to go back for a bit. And, like, the whole thing with Danzo's henchmen, those two guys, right?
Yeah.
My reasoning here is that the first... is he was fucking around, as I said. He wasn't taking it seriously. He did fight, but he wasn't taking it seriously. because they're not that strong. They're not fucking like father nothing, absolute fucking dog water, but they're not that strong.
Yeah.
It's Obito. And my second reasoning is that uh I fucking forgot, dude. I forgot the fucking second thing. Like he wasn't. He was practically just making. Yeah, I got it now. He was practically just making fucking time for Sasuke to heal up, and then so he could fight Danzo and he could watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to obviously get rid of those two. That's also another thing because Sasuke would have had to kill those first.
Exactly.
But he knew he wants Danzo badly, so he just took care of it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all. That's my reasoning.
Oh
But
yeah, no, that's fair. But yeah, so like once that happens, it is what it is. That's kind of that, and so the next moment you get to see what Obito, some action from him, and this is at least just for scaling for Orange Mask and obviously in Yellow Mask as well.
Yeah, I get it.
And so with the Orange Mask, then you get to see him against Konan, okay? And with Konan, I thought this was actually really impressive for her because at the end of the day, and I'm not going to forget that obviously Obito wasn't trying to kill her because he needed to keep her alive to figure out where the Rinnegan was. But all because you're not going to be killing someone doesn't mean you're not going to go full power, like full speed and everything, and just to, immobilize or incapacitate them or whatever. I mean, that makes absolutely no sense for them to restrain themselves like that. Okay.
Like, you can go full speed and power and all that shit, but you have to make sure you don't fucking kill them.
Exactly. And so that's really the only handicap that he had, which is not killing, but that's not really going to handicap his speed or his stats or combat and any of that. You know what I mean? He's still going to do, what he did. Okay. And so what happens is the fact that Konan was not immediately speed blitzed, okay, or just immediately Kamui was very impressive to me because what happens is she goes into her paper form, okay, and she immediately charges at him with all these projectiles and attacks and everything, you name it. And that happens. And then basically when that happens, Obito's like looking for her. He's like, all right, where's she at? He's like, right here. He's like, here, I found you. And he like grabs her by her throat and he's like, it's over. And he's about to Kamui her. And obviously, as we know, when he tries to Kamui, he's vulnerable to attack. And she had paper explosives within her shit. You know what I mean? Within all her paper and everything in her whole body. And she's like, all right, well, you're going to die with me then, bitch. And, and then he has to basically Kamui some of the explosions, but still gets injured in the process because of him using Kamui.
Yeah.
Hang on. Why are you looking at me like that? He was literally looking at me like he was so confused. Like, he was like, who's this guy?
No, I go into his room and this man was completely rolled over.
Oh my god.
And he was like on the bar. It's like,
Aw. He's okay though?
That was the funniest fucking shit I had seen.
Bruh. You didn't get hurt or anything though, right? Okay. Hey, baby. Yeah, you. You happy right now, huh?
He said I got some good sleep.
But no, like, so that happens, and then from there he's like losing an arm and everything. He's like, man, now I understand why you were even a Akatsuki member to begin with. I did underestimate you, whatever. Okay, which is fine, cool, all right. And then that's when she does her prep time card, which for this is not really too much to go crazy off. It's clearly a prep time feat, and obviously this has nothing to do with Konan's actual scaling and everything. Because there's a complete difference between this prep time Konan and just Konan in general. You know what I mean? Like that, if you were to argue of her fighting certain characters in Naruto or whatever. But anyways, so she does that, which is really fucking cool and awesome, great. But what was really interesting with that though is the fact that when that happened, then Obito was like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like then there's even more weaknesses to where, we find out he can only Kamui for 5 minutes, and then we also find out that while he's Kamuing, he can't transfer himself as well. Like, he has to pick one or the other, So, it gets to a point where it kind of shows all that, which I really like that it was pointing all that out, because it clearly goes to show that even though Kamui is a broken jutsu, it's not invincible. You know what I mean? It does have its weaknesses. You know what I mean?
They're hard to exploit.
Yeah, they are hard to exploit, but they can be exploited, and that's the most important thing. And if Konan's able to fucking do it, okay, out of all characters, Konan, Okay, even without the prep time move, and then obviously Minato because come on, it's fucking Minato. All right, and then you have then you even have the point where he even gets hurt when he was fighting against Danzo's men, which I'm not trying to use that as a downplay. It's just the fact that he even had to lose an arm to do that. It's like, whatever. I'm just going to put that out there, But anyways, so with all that being said, that's kind of where it stops for Obito with at least yellow and orange mask. Okay? So then now with all that to put into consideration, and mind you, I have like plenty of, I have certain statements, I have even certain feats and everything and whatnot that really go even deeper with the weaknesses of Kamui and everything. But with all that being said, now you have the character Itachi, okay? And if you look at Itachi's no joke. You know what I mean? He's no slouch, okay? He's definitely over Danzo's henchman, definitely over Konan. You know what I mean? When it comes to Minato, that is obviously arguable, and that's a whole other can of worms I'm not going to get into, whatever. But freaking, he's a very powerful opponent. I would definitely, at the very least, say that he's in a similar scaling when it does come to Minato and Obito. It's very weird and very ignorant to just say he's way lower and below Minato and Obito, and he's nowhere near them. That's just so stupid and weird because the opposite shows that, So Itachi is no joke. We all know how powerful Itachi is. I'm not going to get into every single point we've seen him at. But even in the beginning, when we first see Itachi, the guy's speed was insane. Like, out of all characters we've seen so far, Orochimaru, you know what I mean, the Sannin in Part 1 Naruto, and you name it, Heroes and you name it. We all thought that was really great, right? Then we see this guy, Itachi, come out of nowhere, and this motherfucker is effortlessly just shitting on these people, okay? And then is able to move so fast that all we see is just shuriken come through his knuckles. And all he says is, he says first to Kai's like, I won't take as long as Kasame. And then it does like that hype music and shit. And then you even have the manga too, which was such an awesome moment. But fucking, and then when that happens, Kakashi immediately like gets scared and pressed. And he's like doing hand signs and jumping back. And just for us only seeing Shuriken come through his hand, this motherfucker was able to cast a jutsu and an explosive shadow clone. And all he did was just move his head and Shuriken come through his knuckles. Like, he did all that, clearly showing how fucking crazy his speed was, And Kakashi with the Sharingan, okay, is literally stating, like, I couldn't even follow his hand signs, and he's moving so fast, blah, blah, this and that, yada, yada. Like, who the fuck is this guy? He's no joke, And clearly just showing that this guy is, by far, at least you can definitely say in Part 1, probably the strongest we've seen so far. You know what I mean? When it comes to speed and hacks and everything. Yeah, like, it was just insane. So you get to see all of that, okay? And this is obviously during when he's, like, healthy. He's not, like, really sick or anything. Hasn't really gotten all to that point. So you kind of get a grasp of what healthy Itachi's like. He's no fucking joke, right? Then as the time goes on, or beforehand, then, things go and he's either just gradually losing his vision and, and then even... and getting weaker with the sickness. But what another thing is really impressive with Itachi, okay, is, like, I'm sorry, I'm never gonna forget this, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. This motherfucker fought Hebi Sasuke on his deathbed, blind, okay, and holding back, and he literally could have killed him at any point.
Yeah.
That is insane. Okay? And the fact that he was even able to do... What?
Remember, dude, Hebi Sasuke is fucking stronger than anyone in the Akatsuki, according to the fucking statement.
No, exactly. Definitely. But the bottom line is, like, the fact that even happened with Itachi is actually very fucking impressive, because that just goes to show how scary this guy was when he was at his prime and healthy. You know what I mean? And how fucking strong and fast, and he was clearly a fucking beast. The fact that he could still be able to pull off all that shit, and he even fought against Kasame before going to fight Sasuke as well. You know what I mean? Like, they were kind of just wanting to have like a final showdown or whatever before, and they fight or whatever. And Itachi's not really trying. Like, he's fighting whatever, feeling Kasame out, and then Kasame like does his shit. and then eventually gets to the point where Itachi finally gets serious and he whips out the Mangekyo, and then that's when Kasami's like, yeah, I'm good. You know what I mean? And then he just stops fighting, and that's it. You know? So overall, like, Itachi's still no fucking joke, even when he is sick and fucking blind, basically. You know what I mean?
Like there's that, and also another thing that works for Itachi is that all the fucking things that we seen
Yeah.
part one, he wasn't fucking serious there. He was fucking around.
Yep.
He wasn't serious. He didn't want to kill Kakashi or any of them there, and
Literally,
he still
bro.
did this shit. Yeah, I know.
It was just insane, you know. And mind you, I'm
I know that.
not an Itachi tard. Itachi's actually surprisingly not my favorite character. My favorite character is Kakashi. Second is then Pain. Third is kind of a tie between Minato and Itachi. I haven't decided yet. Fourth,
Wasn't it like Kakashi, Minato, and then Pain?
is Kakashi. Yeah, I think I said that before. But like, what's it called? That's just I love Minato so much. But Kakashi, it was Kakashi, and then I would have to say Pain first. Then I would say for third, it's either between Itachi or Minato. For fourth and fifth, I can't really say that yet because I'll have to look a little bit more into it first. And obviously, I'd have to pick between. Yeah, I'd have to pick between Itachi or Minato then. But anyways, I'm just putting that out there. But anyways, so Itachi's no fucking joke. You know what I mean? Even you were saying that, and it's just insane because he's doing all that. Then this motherfucker is able to activate his Susanoo to literally tank a fucking Kirin, okay? Which is insane because once again, you're talking about a guy that is fatigued, no fucking chakra, no stamina, sick, blind, and can still have a Susanoo, not even in the strongest form, but be able to tank a Kirin. And people are probably like, oh, well, it's just Sasuke's Kirin. Kirin's fucking strong, bro. Like, if you saw that huge ass explosion and crater that made in the anime, you know, like that thing is no joke. You know what I mean? Like, you can't downplay Kirin. You know, like
Powerful.
yeah, like it's literally not only that. I think it was even stated to where Kirin was like kind of similar to what Naruto did with the Rising Shuriken. You know what I mean? I think it was something along this line with nature transformation and everything. You know, so like it's a very, very fucking powerful jutsu. You know. And he does that shit, and Itachi's still able to. What's that?
It wasn't a transformation. It was Sasuke fucking utilizing the natural lightning, but it wasn't a transformation. Like
yeah. Oh, okay. I thought it was maybe something similar to that or something. Okay, that's fine too. But either way, like does that very powerful jutsu. He even literally, I think Sasuke even states that was his most powerful jutsu in his arsenal, or whatever. Yeah, and that's what happens, whatever. And then not only that, if you even look at the thing, I think it also says that Kirin, like, for the speed of it, is like what? Like at the speed of light or something? Or I can't remember.
Speed of lightning.
Yeah, speed of lightning, you know what I mean? So, like, there was that, and he literally says, like, how exactly fast, and basically, like, there's no way to fucking dodge it, kind of similar to your Amaterasu. You know what I mean?
Please, dude, wait a minute. It reminded me of some. I just have to say
Go ahead.
Another fucking Kabuki shit. He was dead ass serious. He was asking Seth, right? He was dead ass serious. I fucking died there. He asked him, "What's the difference between the speed of light and the speed of lightning? Like, where's the light?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Oh my god. What do you mean? What's the difference of fucking? There's a huge difference between the speed of light and the speed of lightning.
Yeah,
the speed of light is tremendously faster than the speed of lightning.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck, it is literally science for a reason. Go fucking Google it. How about that? Jesus fucking Christ.
I hope I'm remembering all of this correctly with Kabuki, because I'm fairly certain I am. I'm just making up shit, but, it's not like 100%, but I'm pretty sure I remember it correctly. Because they were arguing about the fight with Minato and the fourth Raikage and Killer Bee.
Yeah.
And Seth was like pulling all his arguments on the table, putting it there with the fucking kunai showing off and all of that shit, and Kabuki just dead ass it. And I was like, holy fucking shit! I cannot.
I gotta watch that, bro. To be honest, I gotta watch that. React to it. I have to, because I thought that was just Alfro debating Seth in that. To be honest, I don't ever remember Kabuki being in that.
Yeah, Kabuki was.
I the first time I ever watched Kabuki was with Six and Swag. That's how I ever even got introduced to him to begin with.
Madara and Sakura.
Yeah. And holy shit, I lost brain cells with that. Like, I don't understand. Like, I liked Alfro. He was really cool. But I don't understand. But even he was being a fucking idiot too, because I don't understand what was so rocket science or so hard for them to contemplate of the concept of scaling. Like, they
just didn't want to admit that.
Yeah, it's so even without Sakura, it's for instance, imagine talking about Kid Goku and saying him versus I don't know, fucking Gohan as a kid in Super Saiyan 2. You should clearly know who wins that. You know what I mean? The scaling, the gap, it's not fucking rocket science. Same shit applies with Naruto. If you have Madara, especially in the Valley of the End, which don't get me wrong, that Madara is still very strong, but that Madara compared to Boruto Sakura? Come on, bro. If it was Boruto Madara, then yes, by all fucking means, Sakura gets dogged on.
Let me tell you this, dude. If he stands there, he's gonna die if she hits him.
Yeah.
If he stands there, but he's not standing.
Yeah, and not even that, though. Even if he wasn't standing and he was gonna move or anything, you could still, imply that Sakura is tremendously faster than him. If you even analyze...
Actually, yes, because of the novel.
Yeah, even the novel, then you have, all the shit that happened in the war arc with Kaguya, all this... the Madara that fought in the Valley of the End, mind you, he didn't have Hashirama cells. He doesn't have the Rinnegan either. He only has an EMS. Don't get me wrong, that Madara is strong too, but that you're going to tell me that Madara could be able to fight against Kaguya? Or can be able to fight against the Sakura towards the end of that? Or Boruto Sakura? The scaling is just so much higher. It's so... That's literally talking about fucking part 1 Itachi being able to fucking beat, fucking, I don't know, fucking whoever in Shippuden or in Boruto. All the way towards the war. It's just... It's so weird. You gotta... At the end of the day, no matter how much you can love a character... and how fucking godly they can be or goated, scaling is there for a reason. And if a character dies at a certain point, that's kind of where their scaling kind of stops at, or unless there's evidence to infer that, you can imply that they can still scale to certain points or whatever, that's fine. But, as an example, no. We would never, ever, there's no way you can prove Valley of the End Madara, or even Valley of the End Hashirama, is going to be fucking a 6-pass level Naruto or Sasuke or fucking or Boruto level Sakura. You know what I mean? Or even better yet, 6-pass War Arc Sakura. That's what I kind of call that bitch. You know what I mean? She was no joke. The only reason why I say 6-pass, I'm just saying that as an exaggeration, is because she was really pulling 6-pass feats. You know what I mean? She's over here fucking...
Kaguya,
yeah, she's everything she pulled off against Kaguya, then everything, and then her having just more chakra than a fucking 6-pass KCM2 Sage Mode Naruto, which is insane. Yes, I know it's just a shadow clone, but the fact that she has more chakra than him, what? You know what I mean? That's crazy. You know what I mean? There's all this shit, bro. And
okay, real quick. With the fucking loving a character, right? Just wanna briefly touch on this. We're not getting into that, but I love Madara a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I take, I don't know, Kaguya, or even if I really wanna do this, if I take Ishiki, even Jubidara is getting fucking absolutely smacked, dude. Absolutely fucking smacked.
Well, once again, I don't really know anything about Ishiki, and I'm gonna take your word on that because, like I said, I've heard millions of times he's just basically God. Okay.
Yeah.
What's it called? But does Ishiki have anything to counter Limbo though?
Yeah, that's the one argument they always use.
Oh.
But people.
But do you think that wouldn't even be a factor because of the scaling? He would be able to speed blitz him before he could do Limbo? Is that what you're saying?
I'm gonna tell you this right now. I believe this is just my fucking thing, but I believe Ishiki is even more than a six path for sure, and that the fucking limbo
Mm-hmm.
he would be able to interact with it. I believe that. I highly believe that.
Got you. Okay.
And if that's the case, like there is nothing to imply that.
Mm.
I know. I'm just gonna
Well,
say that.
does he
Like,
have any hacks abilities that could allow him to deal with that or see it, or does he have a dojutsu? Does he have, you know what I mean, like?
he has a Byakugan and he can see basically he can see everything with his right eye. Even though it's not the Byakugan, it's the fucking it's you
It's
don't
something
even
else. Oh, it's like
yeah,
another
yeah,
type of joke. Okay, yeah. So you could just make an argument that he could probably see the fucking limbo then.
yeah. He
The
was
fuck?
able to see
And
his
it's a
own chakra.
Boruto. It's a new Boruto dojutsu. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
So
doesn't have a name. It doesn't have a name yet. It doesn't have a
okay.
name.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. Like, I don't see
Yeah.
why fucking yeah. Okay, yeah. That's fine. But either way, you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And no
Like,
matter how much you can love a
there's one
character,
thing.
like I'll
There's
even
one thing.
what?
There is one thing. Like he wasn't like this surprised me. He
Okay.
was using the Byakugan to find like I'm not gonna spoil that. He was using the Byakugan to find something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then, when he was fighting Naruto with Baryon mode, he used his right eye to see the flow and like all the things with his chakra going on,
Yeah.
and he noticed that it was shrinking, like his life fucking force was shrinking, and
Damn.
he was like, "This is what he was able to see with his right eye." So I'm fairly certain he would be able to see the limbo, even though
Yeah.
it's a different dimension.
Yeah.
So, but
Gotcha.
let's go
Gotcha.
back.
Yeah, so we go
skip
back.
my-
We just dove into so many fucking tree,
Yeah, I
different
wanted to
branches
mention-
on the tree. But anyways, back to Itachi to keep it short and sweet. So bottom line is, the point being said is Itachi has shown and done a lot of things that are very, very crazy and actually very impressive, which a lot of people don't really understand. And he's even doing those things while he's also basically almost blind or even on his deathbed, which that does have an effect on his chakra, his stamina, you name it. And the fact that he's still able to do what he's able to do is just remotely, insanely very impressive. And was able to summon his Susanoo to immediately block Kirin and tank it in its weakest form, okay? Is able to still stand back up, okay? And then utilize Susanoo, which we all know Susanoo takes a heavy fucking toll if you don't have EMS. Okay, like the amount of damage and how much, and you name it, your cells and all that. So
Yep.
he's even getting more fucked up. Yeah, he's still able to activate a full, armored Susanoo. I think it's like the second last stage you can do for a Susanoo.
I think the third.
Oh, it's a third? Okay. And he does that, and basically from there, the fight's basically the fight could have been over at any other point anyways, but bottom line is, at that point, like, Sasuke could have just got slaughtered at any fucking point, and he's able to, then Orochimaru comes out, in his strongest form, reminds you, the 8-headed serpent and everything, like, that's kind of like his next form, like Jiraiya Sage mode.
Like nothing.
Yeah, and then Itachi is still able to move fast enough, and just basically, like, a lot of people will argue, oh, it wasn't a speed blitz because Orochimaru just stood there or whatever, and he didn't know it was a Totsuka blade. But I'm gonna be real with you, Orochimaru is not an idiot, and if he's already took a massive L to Itachi before, just with Genjutsu, you really think he's gonna let Itachi hit him with something? You know what I mean? Like, no, he would more than likely try to dodge it or move, right? Like, like it's really stupid, to think that he would just want to take the hit. But then again, you could argue maybe Orochimaru would do that, because I guess it could be in character. He heals from everything, and and all that, and he's always like just kind of taking advantage of that and talking his shit. And not only that, if you analyze what he said after that, he's like, "Oh, you really think a mere sword could defeat me?" Whatever. And then literally next thing you know, he's like, "Wait a minute!" And he starts getting freaked out, and then he realizes it's the Totsuka blade and a sealing jutsu, and apparently he's been looking for it all along, and yada yada. And then, of course, now it makes, I really hated that statement from Orochimaru, because from that point, everyone makes it seem as they're either tools that you could use, but I feel like if they were weapons or tools that either Madara would have knew about it and had it at his disposal, or even Obito, and they didn't really have it, yet only Itachi did. So I feel like that they're basically weapons that can only be summoned depending on what your spirit is. You know what I mean? Like with the Susanoo, like your spirit, it's a spirit connection and everything. So I feel like that was only for Itachi to use because it went hand to hand with who he was and as a a shinobi and everything altogether. That's kind of my take on that. Obviously, I'm not going to say it's 100% true or not, but I don't know. It's really hard to believe that they're actual weapons that you can find, and I feel like you have to. The only way you can be able to get those weapons is either be able to summon it if you have the capability for it, like Itachi, or it was just part of Itachi's Susanoo. That's it. That's all it is. It's one or the other. It either is just only for his Susanoo, or Itachi was the only one to be able to summon those weapons wherever the fuck they were, okay, for some unknown reason. It never really explained it, but whatever.
It's a pity.
What's that?
It's a pity, though. I would really like the fucking backstory on that.
Yeah, exactly, because it's just, I don't know, it was fucking weird. But anyways, so overall that happens, and then Orochimaru gets bodied. But bottom line is, that's still very impressive, because
for sure, yeah,
it's Orochimaru's next level stage. Itachi has no chakra, no stamina, basically at this point. You know what I mean? Like on his deathbed, the coughing up blood, you name it, blind, and even can't even see, and he's still able to just fucking bye, And not only that, a lot of people miss this. That's actually one of the times you actually get to see Itachi actually show emotion for a change. And what I mean by that, like, actually get serious for once. Because if you go back to the anime, I don't know if it shows it in the manga. I think it does. But if you go back to the anime, Orochimaru says something, and it actually pissed him off. To where, like, his face gets, like, death stare serious. Like, like those anime moments where they look at you.
Yeah, I know what he said.
Yeah, he basically does.
Take Sasuke's body over
yeah, and then that's when exactly, and that's when he does that face. If you, it's fast, but you can catch it. And Itachi never ever gets like that. It's very rare. You know what I mean? Like, I think the only time we really get to saw him like that, but nowhere to that extent, was when the police of Chia were kind of talking their shit and saying he killed Chishu and all that, and he was stressed.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah.
But anyways, so overall, like,
I need to fucking body them there.
Yeah, but at that point, once he said that, he immediately got dead serious and just shitted on him. So overall, that's very fucking impressive. You know what I mean? But anyways, so Itachi's no joke. That's all I'm trying to say. And then you have his Tsukiyomi, which is very fucking strong. Okay, very powerful. Yeah. It's a Mangekyo Genjutsu. It's even stated by all other Uchiha and everything that a Mangekyo can even enhance their Genjutsu even more. Okay, and the problem with that, it's a hacks Genjutsu as well, to where basically if you get hit by it, you can't even break out of it. That's what fucking sucks about it. Even stated by Naruto and all these other people. The only thing that is arguable, which a lot of people do mention, is the fact that, like, if you have a Sharingan, you're an Uchiha, or if you have the Mangekyo as well, especially, that you could be able to resist it for a certain amount of time, or better yet, just maybe can't even get affected by it, whatever.
That's what I talked about before.
Yeah. But see, my whole thing on that with Itachi's, with Itachi's Tsukiyomi is, it'd be really weird, you know what I mean, to where, like, if that was really, really the case, because when you look at, like, it could be either way. That's what I'm basically trying to say. I'm not saying one or the other is concrete. But the only reason why I'm kind of defending his Tsukiyomi is because when you look at let me find that fucking, I had it on my phone. It is, I'm gonna read it word for word. Where the fuck are you, little bitch? There it is. Okay, so right here it basically says. Okay, yeah, so it's basically Kakashi's like, just do as I say. Only another person with a Sharingan could probably fight with his. Listen, both of you, under no circumstance shall you open your eyes. If you look in his eyes, it's all over. And then Itachi's like, some resistance could be made to this Mangekyo Sharingan. That is true. Only another Sharingan user could challenge me. And then he's like, however, this Sharingan has a special Aijutsu. And only a Sharingan user with the same blood as me can defeat me. My illusion jutsu Tsukiyomi cannot be beaten. So basically, when he states that, he's basically saying, yeah, that's true. Maybe you might be able to resist it, whatever. But however, this Sharingan has a special Aijutsu, meaning he's referring to Tsukiyomi in that it is different in a sense. And literally states, my illusion jutsu Tsukiyomi cannot be beaten. And Itachi's not the character to boast about something or say something that is, at least with his abilities and whatnot, just to lie and be dishonest and say that's not the case if he didn't really mean it. You know what I mean? That's really stupid. Like, he's always humble. You know what I mean? Always. It's in character. He never. Yeah, like it's fucking. He always admits when something is the way it is. He's a realist, And so when he says only a Sharingan user with the same blood as me can defeat me, what he's basically implying is only an Uchiha can be able to defeat him. That doesn't mean it would necessarily mean that like only an Uchiha with a Sharingan can negate Tsukiyomi or resist it. I don't think that's what he's implying. What I think what he's actually really just implying is that only an Uchiha has any remote chance or anything like that to be able to beat him. So when people take that out of proportion and say, oh, well, with that being said, that means that, if it's Obito or Madara or any of these other people, whatever, or even Shishu or whatever, that like Tsukiyomi's just out of the equation, it won't work. Which I think is really silly because, it's fucking, it's Tsukiyomi at the end of the goddamn day. It's Mangekyo Genjutsu, and literally every time he's used it, it works. You know what I mean? Like, it works every fucking time. And the only time we haven't seen him use it was against, an Uchiha, obviously, like Obito or Madara or whatever. But what we do know is he did it on Sasuke, okay? And Sasuke had a Sharingan, and he wasn't able to resist that shit. It immediately affected him on the spot, So, like, it's really weird to just automatically assume that, oh, yeah, you can either resist it or it just won't work, where the whole point of a Mangekyo hack's ability, you know what I mean? It's for it to be competent and to do its goddamn job. You know what I mean? It's so, I don't know. But anyways, what do you think, and what is your response to that?
To Tsukuyomi, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to respond to that. So there is this. I get it. It's not fucking. It's powerful.
And it's Itachi. You know what I mean? Don't forget that.
Yes, yes, it's Itachi. I know. But there is this thing. We are talking about Obito here.
True.
He is an Uchiha, like Sasuke was. Okay, that's
and
fine.
his Genjutsu is very powerful, and he has Hashirama cells.
Yeah. Okay, but like, never mind those now. But he has MS, which Sasuke didn't have at that point. And I know that a lot of people like to bring this up, that when Kakashi fought Itachi, he literally had Obito's eye, but that wasn't fucking MS. Kakashi isn't an Uchiha.
True.
It's not like he's not full-blooded. He isn't even an Uchiha at all. Yeah. And then we have Obito. He's a full-blooded Uchiha.
Hashirama shells enhanced as well. That is important.
Yeah.
That does make his stamina and everything enhanced overall. Taijutsu, ninjutsu, and genjutsu.
True. He has MS.
Yep.
And most importantly for me, that's why I fucking hate the Tsukuyomi argument. That's for me. Like, it's for me. And that's why I want to bring this up.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Like, his genjutsu feats are insane, dude. And you cannot tell me otherwise.
They are.
Like,
and that's just base Sharingan, not even Mangekyo.
Yeah, and he fucking put Yagura in the fucking genjutsu that he wasn't able to do anything. It was like a puppet, and that was like a perfect Jinchuriki, which is literally fucking stated by B when Sasuke tried that shit, that it's impossible to be put onto that shit because the tail beast will wake you up. So
exactly.
That's why I fucking hate.
He basically pulled a Kodo Matsukami feat. He was able to place Yagura under a Genjutsu, mind you, only with a Sharingan, not with a Mangekyo. I don't think it was Mangekyo, and I don't think it was ever stated that it was Mangekyo either. I'm pretty sure it was just regular Sharingan, a full Tomo.
Free Tomo, yeah.
Yeah, but like overall, that's still very impressive because if let's say Obito did that right, and he put him in a Genjutsu, then you're right. He should have just got broken out because the tail beast within him would have been like, hey, what the fuck? He's acting weird or whatever. And bam. But instead, he was able to place him in a Genjutsu without the tail beast either even just not realizing, or it was so strong to where it affected him and the tail beast as well.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I'm gonna be real with you. I think it's really weird to say Obito's Genjutsu just for some reason just was not realized. You know what I mean? By the tail beast, because the tail beast is inside. They can literally hear and feel everything from the Jinchuriki. So if this man just out of nowhere has a personality change, or is now doing things, or kind of seems like a puppet, or all this other shit, whatever. And better yet, there's even like statements and everything for this as well, where the village just completely took a turn of tides and started changing drastically and being very weird and you know, cold and dark, and you know, like, it doesn't make any sense for the Jinchuriki to be like, wait a minute, something might be wrong. Let me just see, and let me see if he's in a Genjutsu. You know what I mean? Like, just, for him to at least just check. You know, because yeah, sure, the tail beast could maybe just be, oh, maybe he just changed, whatever. But it'd be really weird for the tail beast to not think that he could be in a Genjutsu and to help him out, because it's literally stated that Yagura was one of the few to become a perfect Jinchuriki, to control his tail beast and utilize it. So yeah, exactly, and B. So overall, like, the only thing that seems more, you know, probable. Obviously, I'm not going to say it's guaranteed, but to me, it's mostly realistic and more probable that Obito just cast such a strong Genjutsu to where both of them were affected.
Yep.
You know, and so the only way they could get out of it was someone else releasing it from him. You know, that was the only way, which I believe that's what happened. I don't remember. So overall, like, that is true, and that is impressive. But here's what I'll say with the whole Tsukiyomi thing. This is basically
Before you do, I just finish it real quick. Like, for me, it's not. I hate the fucking argument, but it's not like Tsukiyomi is just straight up out of the picture.
Exactly.
However, I do believe that Obito and Madara would be the two that would be able to do something against it. Like, they would be able to break out, even if it gets them. That's what I believe. But it's a maybe.
Yeah. So this is what I'll say on this, and this is just me being honest and not being one-sided for either war or whatever. Okay.
Right.
If Itachi uses Tsukiyomi, let's say, like, because I'm still going to get into the feats and everything, and then eventually go over the win cons for why I think Itachi would win and blah blah, you know, and how maybe if Obito could pull it off, but. And I'm not going to go too crazy, because once again, I'm going to have a video on this and show everything and you name it. But literally with at least with Tsukiyomi, to keep it very brief and short, you know, with Tsukiyomi, it's very powerful. Okay, it's been shown. It's even stated by Naruto and all these other people that if you get hit by it, there's no way breaking out of it, because it's a hack's ability. You know, you name it, like, you can't even have time perception or anything like that. So if you get hit, you're fucked. That's the problem. It's not even that if you have the chakra or the ability to break out of it, because if that was the case, then yeah, anyone like Madara, Obito, or etc. could most definitely be able to break out of it. That's stupid if you wouldn't think they wouldn't be able to. But because it's a hacks, if they do get hit by it, they're fucked. But this is where it gets interesting. Okay, if Obito has his Mangekyo, or even his base Sharingan, okay, I would even go as far as that. And Itachi goes to utilize Tsukiyomi, okay, this is where the most important question comes into place. Are they able to resist it and continue to fight, and then, you know, have enough time to win the battle, whatever? Or two, they can't resist it, they get hit by Tsukiyomi, and then that's it, done. Because once again, you can't break out of that. That's the problem, okay? And the only reason why Kakashi was even able to get out of Itachi's Tsukiyomi wasn't because of, you know, the Sharingan or anything like that. He used a shadow clone, okay? And Itachi used Tsukiyomi on a fucking shadow clone, and then realized, oh, what the fuck? Like, something's off. And then that was it, you know? So overall, like, with Tsukiyomi, like, it basically comes down to that. And I'm fine with people arguing that Madara or even Obito could be able to resist his Tsukiyomi long enough, you know, and then just win that way or whatever. At least for Madara, I'll say that. For Obito, even if he was to resist, I feel like that's more of a hindrance to him, because while he's trying to resist that Genjutsu and fight back, if that is actually the case, okay, he's still going to be having to deal with Itachi, you know. And for Madara, though, that's not really a hindrance, because at the end of the day, it's fucking Madara, okay? And while Madara is either resisting it or whatever, you name it, like fucking at any point when Madara eventually decides to get serious, okay? Because you can argue that Madara in character, if we're talking about it in character fight, not bloodthirsted, but if it's in character, then Madara would probably want to kind of fuck around with Itachi, dance with him, because Madara is the first person to realize potential and skill or power itself. He knew that with Obito, okay? So if he were to just come across Itachi, he'd be like, all right, this guy, he's strong, but I'm gonna fuck with him. You know what I mean? If he doesn't want to do what I want, then I'll just fight him, and then, I'll give him one more chance. If I can't use him, then I'll just kill him. That's basically how that would go with Madara, okay?
Yep.
And so, Madara would, mess around with Itachi, whatever, blah, blah, this and that, and that'd be it. But with Madara, it's not really too big of a deal if Itachi wants to resort to Tsukiyomi, because you could just argue that he could just be able to resist it, and either he would never be able to get put into it, or it would take too long for him to get into it, and by that point, Madara would already be killing him, or it'd be done or the fight's over. That's fine, whatever. I'm not going to get into all that yet. Or not in this, stream or whatever, what we're talking about. We're mainly just focused on Obito. But with Obito, that's fine. I don't fucking care. I do know there are people out there that literally will be like, nah, if he is Tsukiyomi, that's it. GG. Dead. You know what I mean? And if that is the case, which fortunately we won't ever know, like, I've read the manga, I can read it again, I've watched the anime like 3 fucking times, I'm going to watch it for a 4th time eventually, okay, like...
I just finished the OG.
Yeah, like, I've never seen anything, not a statement or anything to indicate that Itachi Tsukiyomi is an absolute guarantee of affecting an Uchiha user. You know what I mean? Like statement-wise, like if they're powerful enough. The only thing we've ever seen is the whole thing where he says, you may be able to resist it, but it's, whatever, but it's futile, and all that. But see, the whole problem with that and everything is, for one, you're talking about Itachi that's a spy, and he's kind of just fucking around. And yes, I did say with the whole humble thing, and he never is dishonest or anything, but you got to remember, like, he says all that with Kakashi, but then when he fights Sasuke, which there's no way you can argue this, I know damn well Sasuke would have better resistance, to Genjutsu with his Sharingan compared to Kakashi in part 1. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Sure. So, like, and the fact that for some unknown, usual reason, it took, like, maybe Itachi, like, I don't know, a couple seconds to activate Tsukiyomi and Kakashi or whatever, to where Sasuke was just, literally all you see is his eye just move, and bam, he's in it, So, so that's why I feel like that, statement doesn't really help that much or anything. And then on top of that, that's just that. It's just base fucking Sharingans. We've never seen anything with Mingekyo. You know what I mean? And what we do know with Mingekyo, just like you stated as well, it's more stronger. You know what I mean? Either, to initiate more powerful Genjutsu, the whole 9 yards, okay? And so for all we know, perhaps if it's a Mingekyo, that, Obito could be able to resist the Tsukiyomi, whether if it's long enough or maybe just for a little bit, whatever, we won't know. But either way, there's no statements or anything at all to indicate that Itachi Tsukiyomi would work 100% on a Mangekyo Sharingan. We know that it can work on a Uchiha on a Sharingan user, but then when you talk about Obito, or better yet, Madara, that could be different too. Because I'm not trying to shit on Sasuke, but we're talking about heavy Sasuke, bro. Like,
I'm so
fucking who cares? You know what I mean? Like, we all know Obito and Madara's fucking full Tomo Sharingan is way more better than heavy Sasuke Sharingan.
Yeah.
You could even argue that crippled, blind, sick Itachi is Sharingan, regular Tomo Sharingan is better than heavy Sasuke Sharingan. Or better yet, actually, as a matter of fact, it was. Because he was literally going back and forth with Sharingan's Genjutsu, and he wasn't even trying. You could even argue that if he wanted to go full, he would have beat Sasuke in a Genjutsu battle. So, overall, like, what you said is perfectly reasonable, and it's understandable. And that's for, for your side of it, and then for the people that want to just stick to the side of, oh, it's guaranteed to work or whatever, that's fine and all. And if that's the case, cool, yeah, that would be a W, but we just don't know. There's nothing, there's not, you know what I mean? Like, we don't.
It's not an argument. if we knew for sure, I wouldn't be arguing.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's just that. And that's why if it really came to me doing a video on it or me just discussing or anything, period, that's not going to be my main go-to, like, wild card, or yeah, like, that's a guaranteed W condition. I mean? That's very silly and ignorant to just focus on that as an argument or even for a debate, period. But anyways, so that's Tsukiyomi. Then you have Amaterasu, okay? Yeah. And so this is the thing. I'm going to be real with you. If Itachi is doing Amaterasu at a far distance, Obito is just going to combo that shit. That's what's fucking happening. There's no arguing against it or whatever, or the whole Sasuke scene. Oh well, Sasuke, he did his thing, and no, I'm gonna get to that. So, what we do know, when Sasuke, and I know this is Sasuke, but still, Sasuke is still strong at this point. He's testing out his Mangekyo and everything. But when Sasuke did Amaterasu on the third Raikage, that motherfucker was just able to teleport out of it, like before it could hit him. Yeah. Oh, the fourth Raikage, yeah. He was just able to teleport. That's it. And it could not hit him, no matter what. You know what I mean? Yeah, and then Gaara's sand was even fast enough to block Amaterasu. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, Amaterasu, don't get me wrong, it is instantaneously and is insanely fast. Like, even Sasuke states to Itachi, like, yeah, I have Kirin that's kind of similar to your Amaterasu, where there's no way of dodging it or moving out of the way. But that is true to a certain degree. If they're at a distance, what we do know is Amaterasu, it is insanely fast, but it has travel speed as well. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's not
exactly. So what the problem is if you're using Amaterasu, whether if you're Itachi or even you could argue maybe Itachi's Amaterasu would be faster than Sasuke. That's fine too, whatever. But anyways, if it's literally at a distance, you got to put into consideration of the travel time. You know what I mean? Because there's a difference between using Amaterasu. If you're right in front of my face, right, and I use Amaterasu, that's totally different. You know what I mean? It's going to be a lot harder to dodge a point blank fucking Amaterasu, or better yet, or now you have less time to react or move and etc. That's totally different. So at a distance, that shit is not working on Obito, because what we have seen with Obito, okay, for one, he was able to dodge technically a yellow flash teleportation feat from the fourth Raikage. Okay, because Kamui is always activated on standby. The only time it's not activated is if he is materializing himself to grab you and Kamui you. You know what I mean? So meaning, if he doesn't grab you and he's not trying to Kamui you, then it's not automatic. It is always automatic, though. Okay, and I believe there's even a statement for that as well. I just got to go find it.
Yeah, it is.
So when the fourth Raikage charged at Obito, dead ass, Obito literally, he was surprised. He couldn't even, realize that actually happened. He's like, oh, he backed his head up and jerked it back, and he's like, oh, fuck, damn. And he even says after that, he's like, wow, you really are as fast as they say, Now, I guarantee you that kind of gave him some trauma, thinking back to Minato. But anyways, so he even acknowledged it, and he was caught off guard by it, but it didn't matter because Kamui, and that was why he was okay. Now, with that being put into mind or consideration, that just throws all that out the window. So Amaterasu as a range attack, of how it was with him and Sasuke, how far they were when Sasuke's running around with one fucking wing, and then Itachi's just kind of playing with his dick, it's like if you're pissing with your dick and you're just, whatever, and he's like, all right, now I'll hit you. That's all that happened right there. Sasuke wasn't moving fast enough to dodge Amaterasu flames. So I'm just saying this because there's actually some people that are out there that will literally argue that Sasuke was moving so fast that he was able to dodge Itachi's Amaterasu, which is blatantly not true. Itachi was literally not hitting him on purpose. He was looking at everywhere else, looking at literally the moment to where Sasuke was about to be, but just looking at behind. He wasn't even doing it in front of him or anything like that. He was just looking and acting like he was trying to keep up with him or follow him. And then he's like, all right, enough. And then he hit his wing instantaneously, just by looking. So that's the first thing. So regardless, if it's range, out of the window. This is where it can get interesting, though. What we do know, okay, is with, if, let's say, Itachi and Obito have a moment where they're fighting. Itachi's doing his Shuriken Jutsu, Fireball, whatever. Obito's just comboing against it, you name it, whatever. And then, like, they both charge at each other, right? And I'm just going to be real with you. If Minato, especially Konan, which I know damn well Konan is nowhere near as intelligent as Minato or Itachi or some other characters. But if Konan could fucking be able to figure out, needing years to do it, and Minato on the spot, Kakashi on the spot, Danzo's henchmen on the spot. Okay, there's no way in God's name you're going to tell me Itachi can't be able to deduce how Kamui works and how to basically deal with it and figure out a way to beat it. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but he's going to have some type of counter strategy. And not only that, there's even proof for that, because I'm going to tell you right now, bro, there's people out there that actually think and downplay Itachi and be like, oh yeah, he won't be able to have any way to figure out how to deal with Kamui. Yeah, no, when Itachi is... Yeah, exactly. When Itachi... Go ahead, go first, and I'll say it.
Let me say something. So, it was different with Minato. Like, Minato is super fucking intelligent.
Yep.
And...
he had the best scores, Conan, too, on the tuning exam test.
Conan literally fucking observed Obito.
For years.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
took that bitch years.
Kakashi, that is very fucking intelligent.
Yeah, and his Sharingan eye gives him even more analysis and insight.
Yeah.
Yep.
It took him some time. It wasn't instant like
true.
Minato.
True. It was. That is true, because remember when they first met and Kakashi wasn't able to figure it out at first. Remember when Obito was kind of stalling and shit, and he couldn't figure it out or whatever. If he was there long enough, sure. But in the war arc, he needed some time, and then he was like, light bulb. So true, that is true. But Minato, because of how fucking intelligent that motherfucker is, instantaneously.
Yeah, it took him, it didn't take him that long. Yeah. But I don't know, where did you get the Danzo henchman thing? Like, they didn't even know what was, they didn't know what was fucking going on with that ability.
Oh no, they stated it.
To get Obito.
No, they did state that, though. They did state it. There's a point where when they first fight Obito, they're actually able to immediately realize how his ability works and deduce a counter strategy for it. They were able to. Which is weird, trust me. I know it's weird, but they literally state it. And then when they go to basically try to replicate the feat that Conan and Minato did, they epically fail.
Yeah, they do. I know, because their abilities...
Their abilities couldn't be able to compensate for Kamui. Yeah. They were trying to use their abilities to compensate. So that's the thing. They immediately were able to deduce and how to deal with Kamui, but unfortunately their abilities would not allow them to be able to compensate. Yeah. Even if they could think of a strategy to do it, there'd be no way realistically they could, which is why they fucking lost and then they took the L. And either way, at the end of the fucking day, all Obito really had to do too is just put him in Genjutsu. If I'm being real with you. True. You didn't even have to fucking combo them. But anyways.
But I get what you're saying there, but I believe they didn't fucking figure that shit out fully. I believe, they stayed...
Not right off the bat. True. They had to, deal with him at first, and then they were able to do it.
Yeah, so. And even that wasn't fully. Fully fucking understood that shit like Minato did.
Yeah, nowhere near it. No. Nowhere near as fast as Minato. And then at the end of the day, we all know that Minato was more smarter there. But anyways, what I was saying though, with all that being said, which I'm glad you're even acknowledging that. There's actually people out there, which makes no fucking sense, but there's actually people out there that really think Itachi would not be smart enough to deduce Kamui. And come up with a strategy. It's so fucking ignorant. You're talking about a character, one of the smartest characters in Naruto, had the second best scores on the written test behind Minato. Exactly. Had the best score in the tuning exams in the Forest of Death by himself, but Gaara surpassed it because of his hacks abilities. You know what I mean? And then not only that, there's even a scene. This was in the novel stated, and it doesn't show it in the anime, but it's in the novel, where it's stated to where Itachi, while taking the test, was looking at everyone and deducing all their abilities, and then coming up with counter strategies to be able to defeat every single one on the spot.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Like, so, no, this guy is very fucking intelligent. And then there's even more evidence to where he he's, like, excelling in school. Like, it's easy. Nothing, you know what I mean? Like, all of it,
Not only that, like, if you observe the whole thing, you clearly can see that Itachi always does this. Always.
Yeah, it's just in character. You know what I mean? Like I kid you not, if I had to call anyone the Batman of Naruto, it's fucking Itachi. You know what I mean? Like, he's super intelligent. He loves to prep. You know what I mean? He's not perfect, but he's very, very fucking intelligent. And his win-loss is like 99%. The only L he took was being able to win with Sasuke at the end of the day. That didn't go his way. You know, he wasn't able to plan too precisely for that, unfortunately. You know, because Obito's like, nah, fuck your plans. But anyways, you know, like, literally, whenever it came to his intelligence and even planning, he always took a W. Every fucking time. Better yet, if you even look at his character, he always took a W. No matter what. You know what I mean? So, like, and then not only that, what made Itachi so, like, dangerous is not only is he humble with himself, but he's not overconfident either. He never underestimates anyone, okay? And literally, like, you know what I mean? Like, just having that type of mentality to know that you can be beaten is important. You know what I mean? Because that just makes him want to utilize his intelligence even more and to analyze and deduce, etc., which he consistently does from a kid in Part 1 Naruto and then in Shippuden. You know, it's so fucking dumb. So I don't know why people actually have the audacity to make a statement and say he has no way to deal with Kamui or to think of some strategy or plan when that just doesn't make any fucking sense. You know what I mean? That's completely out of character for Itachi. And if Minato could do it, I don't see why Itachi couldn't at least think of something. It's fine. If you want to argue about the execution of it, great. But you ain't going to tell me this motherfucker can't think of something, you know? So now...
People shouldn't be able to.
Yeah, you know, so...
It wouldn't be easy, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, but, you know, so when it gets to that point, okay, you know, Itachi's going to be able to think of something. That's happening no matter fucking what. So now they've thrown that out the window, okay? Then it gets to the point where, how does Itachi do it? And does he actually have the abilities to compensate for Kamui, okay, and to be able to, you know what I mean, deal with it, you know, or better yet, is it just a loss, unfortunately, similar to the Danzo henchmen, okay? And this is where it gets really interesting, because...
we don't have to talk about the fucking abilities here. Like, it's fucking clear as day that his abilities are far superior to those two.
Yeah, you know, so overall, like, back to the Mataratsu. So if Itachi is doing a Mataratsu at a far distance, it's not going to do anything. So what Itachi's going to have to do is he'll have to close up the distance, utilize, you know, Shuriken, whatever you name it, to, like, cause him to Kamui. This way, you know, he can't materialize to Kamui Itachi. You know what I mean? Because he's going to, you know, understand that as well. And so literally when it gets to that point, Itachi actually has... This is my win cons for Itachi. And I'm going to state this right now as well. Okay? Right. What's it called? It doesn't mean it's guaranteed that Itachi wins either. I'm not stating that either. Could Obito be able to pull off a W? Yes, sure. It's fucking Obito. There's, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. For you to just think it's absolutely guaranteed to stomp or Itachi just wins no matter what. Like, I get it, it's Itachi, whatever. But come on, bro, that's being very disingenuous to Obito. Like, you at least gotta, you know what I mean? Like, so, but anyways, so this is what I feel with Itachi, okay? If Itachi's fighting Obito, the first thing that he could be able to utilize for a win con could potentially be a Mataratsu. And this is what I'm going to say for a Mataratsu. If Itachi is in close range, kind of exactly how Obito and Sasuke were, that type of range, okay, and while he's also either utilizing Fire Style, or he's using a Shuriken, or better yet, that one move he did against Killer Bee where he uses Fire Style with Shuriken, and the whole point of that move was to basically cause like a diversion and then to utilize your speed to get behind the opponent, you know, and then do something. If he's kind of, you know, utilizing that ability to kind of try to deal with a Kamui, kind of similar to what Minato did when he threw the kunai, you know, Tachi could do something like that where he can do Fire Style Shuriken, throw the kunai, whatever, and while it's going through Obito and he's going to charge at him, then time Amaterasu right when it goes through, when Obito's about to grab, and bam, that could get Obito on Amaterasu, and that's basically it. Because what we do know is Amaterasu is at least fast enough to hit Obito if it is in close range. Okay, that we do know. Which is weird, and I don't know if this is a plot hole, or if this is just, I don't know, like Kishimoto just forgot how Kamui works. But at the end of the day, when you analyze Sasuke, okay, when he does the fucking Amaterasu, literally how that happens, bro, is blood starts coming down from his eye, his Sharingan activates, then turns into a Mangekyo, and then shoots Amaterasu. So with all that put into consideration, Obito is seeing something about to go down and happen. Okay, they're in close range, Amaterasu comes and then hits him. And it's not like Obito, like, it just goes through him, or or let's say it hits him and then or then he just Kamui's it. There's no way actually for him to Kamui that if he got hit, because the way Kamui works is if you get hit, okay, which he was literally screaming in pain and rolling on the ground and his mask fell and everything, okay, like, you know what I mean? Like, he was basically doing the drop and roll shit with the Amaterasu, even though Amaterasu don't fucking disappear like normal fire, okay? Like, he's clearly in pain, he's yelling, it's in the anime, it's even in the manga, okay, so we know it hit him. And if he utilizes Kamui, which something he did with Conan's explosives and all that other shit, that's fine and all, but the problem with Kamui, though, is since it's on his body part, what we do know is when he Kamui's whatever he's trying to Kamui, that travels with him to the other dimension. So if the fire is literally on his body, even if he Kamui's that part, away or whatever, it's still going to be on him. It doesn't just take it off. You know what I mean? It's not like Naruto's fucking chakra, like slime cloak, where it hits the chakra and then that just comes off and hits the ground. You know what I mean? Like, all Kamui is like transportation of whatever is hitting, okay, or whatever hits it and just brings it to the other dimension. That's it, So overall, like with the Amaterasu hitting him, it's still going to be on him, which is why he was screaming in pain and why he couldn't Kamui it, okay? And then he had to resort to using Izanagi, which is not out of the equation, because we do know he has a shit ton of Sharingan. Like, it's literally in that one place where it shows like all the Uchiha symbols. He has plenty of Sharingan eyes, okay? And he hides it in his other mask, which is really smart, to make it look like he only has one eye when he has two, okay? And basically from there, that's what he does, and that's basically his get out of jail free card. And that's what he did. And that's why when he has the statement, if Itachi knew everything about him, okay, that he would more than likely be dead and, whatever, which I'm not going to really get too much into that, because I'm going to be real with you. If Itachi really thought and considered he was Madara, it wouldn't make any sense for him to not put into consideration that Madara could know what Izanagi or Izanami is. That's just really dumb. So what I think what that means is what Obito was trying to imply was that if Itachi knew everything about him, okay, meaning knowing that, that fucking, that something along like he would have to plan either a little bit further or whatever to get rid of him, that wouldn't be enough. I think that's what he was trying to imply. You know what I mean? Because it would be really weird and not make any sense. Unless this is something Kishimoto just didn't think about at that current point in time, because obviously the war arc is a little bit way after, Yep. But, so unless Kishimoto messed up and forgot, but Kishimoto eventually shows that Itachi is well aware of Izanagi and Izanami, okay, and goes about that. So meaning if he knew, you get what I'm saying? So it's really weird to not think Obito would be meaning it towards that. But anyways, so he had to use Izanagi. And then you have people that come out and say, oh, well, there's a data book statement that says he used Kamui to escape Amaterasu. That's fine, but once again, do you know how many data book statements are out there that are absolutely ridiculous? And did you also not forget that Kishimoto can write things during certain arcs in Naruto in certain times to where he's still creating the lore, the mystery behind, you know what I mean? You name it, like, to just make it seem that Obito's Kamui was the main reason why he got out of it, when that was actually not the case. And as you go along in the show, then you realize he has the Izanagi that he shows against Conan, and so on and so forth, etc. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? To where, like, that's why you can't really hold that statement to heart, to where, for all you know, Kishimoto was just applying it for that moment to make you think it was Kamui. But then when you watch the show even more and learn more about Kamui and Obito, and you actually use your head, that actually contradicts it and doesn't make any fucking sense. You know what I mean? So it basically gets to the point where, at least to me, I don't know about your thoughts, and I'll let you respond to that or whatever too. But I really do think he used Izanagi. I don't. There's just, it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like, unless the Amaterasu like went through him. But the only reason why I know it didn't go through him is because if you look at the manga and the anime, it's stuck on him. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't go through him like the Fourth Raikage did. You know what I mean? It's literally on him, and then his eyes go up, and he's like, oh, what the Amaterasu? And then he starts screaming in pain, falls backwards, and falls on the ground, and his mask falls. You know? So, like, I don't know, bro. But all I'm trying to say is that's my stance on that whole situation. I'm pretty 100% sure it is Izanagi. And if Itachi is able to create an opening, and utilize his Amaterasu in close range, or better yet, do something like that to incorporate, I don't see why that couldn't be a W or a win con. You know what I mean? And then obviously Obito would have to resort to Izanagi, you know what I mean, to not die from that. And now he just has one eye, and then, they keep going or whatever. But that could be that, and then I'll get into the next thing that I feel like Itachi could be able to pull off. I am going to talk about Obito as well, of what I think what his win con will be. But I'll let you respond. And what do you think about Amaterasu? Do you think with Itachi's intelligence and Amaterasu, at least speed wise and close range, could be able to kill Obito, or catch him slipping?
He would be able to, for sure.
Okay.
He's fast enough for that.
So you don't think I'm capping on that?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. But what I will say is, as you said before, if he does it from a long range, it's not gonna do shit.
Not doing shit. Anything from long range, even anything in close range, you know what I mean? Like, is not doing anything. Like, the only reason why, like I said, I can't truly explain, and I don't know what your take is going to be on this too. But, like, Amaterasu was the only thing that we've seen for some reason that was fast enough to bypass automatic activation of Kamui. The only thing. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's just that fucking fast in close range, or plot hole. I don't fucking know. But bottom line is, anything else we've seen, weapons, jutsus, from a range or close, nothing ever worked on Obito except for Kakashi's Kamui combo attacks. But that's different. That's Kamui. You know what I mean? So, so like, the fact that Itachi was the only character to somehow beat Kamui, you know what I mean, without making him materialize and have an opening, but just in that distance, is pretty fucking crazy to me. Like, and you know what I mean? So it's just weird. And, so yeah, that's why I really do think that. But anyways, off the topic of Amaterasu, what's it called? So for that, then you have Itachi's Shadow Clone thing, which, the feat that Conan did to Obito? With literally the explosions, like, she does all her paper jutsus, like, she's like millions of like paper attacks, and it's going through him.
Yeah, billions.
And then when he chokes her and grabs her, he goes to Kamui her. And then she has like explosion tags on her, on all those papers, and then he had to basically like Kamui half of the explosion in order to survive, because he was fast enough. And then and then half of his other body got fucked up. So I'm gonna be real with you, Itachi could actually pull off a similar feat like that, and one of those is his Shadow Clone Bomb Jutsu, where it literally blows up. Like we saw that in part 1. You know what I mean? To where Kushina and Asuma didn't even know, and Kakashi had to like save both of them, okay, because they shotting gun and everything, to realize that it was a Shadow Clone. And I'm gonna be real with you, like, yes, obviously Kakashi was able to realize, but the only reason why Kakashi was able to realize, because 1, he's intelligent, 2, his analyzing abilities in the shotting gun are alright, and 3, okay, Like, you could also even say that, he was partners with Itachi. That's even shown, and he was an Anbu with him and everything. So, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, but with Obito, yes, he could be able to figure out if something's obviously a shadow clone. I don't see why he wouldn't be able to either. He's definitely intelligent enough. That's not an issue. But if Itachi is fighting against him and pressing him, and then sends, like a shadow clone that's an explosion one instead to charge at him and everything, and Obito grabs him and goes to Kamui that, and then Obito realizes, oh shit, shadow clone explosion, fucking, he has two options. Either die or Kamui, the explosion, or whatever, or whatever he can do. So, and I do feel with Itachi's speed and his intelligence and combos attacks or whatever the case may be, and all that if Konan could pull that fucking feat, bro, I don't see why Itachi couldn't be able to replicate something similar to that either. And better yet, it'd just be even to a better execution or way of doing that, But that's obviously, just a possibility, and that's something I do want to put out there, that he could be able to utilize to maybe catch Obito slipping as well. So there's that. And
actually, I forgot something.
Go ahead.
Something with Amaterasu, right? If Itachi gets the hit, it would be a problem. So yeah, I believe that Obito did in fact use Izanagi. But let me tell you this. If he does have to use it, if it comes down to it, I guarantee you he's not fucking following that. Like, he's not falling for it again.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Yeah, no. Like, what Obito's going to do is he's either going to be calmly on the ground, kind of, trying to, make it very hard for Itachi to figure out where he's at and shit, you name it. He's going to keep his distance, for sure. Absolutely. Use wood style. Let's not forget he can do that, too, Yeah. What's it called? So, absolutely. So, but either way, and I'm glad you put that out. The only reason why I didn't mention that yet is because, once again, I was going to mention all that when I was going to argue for Obito. You know what I mean? And like his, win con and shit. But anyways, so like there's that. Then the final thing, the only other thing that I can think of for Itachi, because Tsukiyomi, we don't know. That's why I'm not even really talking about that. I'm talking about things that I know for a fact that could most definitely happen. It's not that it's guaranteed, but there's a way higher probability or as for effectiveness in comparison to Tsukiyomi. You know what I mean? So, and that's why I wanted to go over those two. But the last thing that could work would be exactly the Totsuka blade. Okay? And
you explained this before. Right?
Yeah, and I explained that before, and I'm not going to go too further on that because, for one, I already talked with you about this off recording, and I want to actually show that on the video to kind of surprise some people because that even surprised you. And just to see what everyone else thinks on that, and then obviously if we ever want to talk about it again.
I was aware of that statement, but it never occurred to me in this.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? You know what I mean? So if you take those statements into consideration, and the only reason...
Let me tell you this. If you're in fact right here, if it's the case, then it would be enough to kill Obito there. If it hits, then it would be
absolutely. Yeah, for sure. So, like, but see, and that's another thing too. Here's this thing too, which just pisses me off from from Six, Seth, and Swag. They act like they can scale Itachi's Totsuka blade speed when you can't. Like, and that shit it actually pisses me off. We don't even know how fast that is. You know what I mean? Like we know, like you have like the distance between him and Orochimaru. And like he immediately does it, but
it's hard.
But it's hard. But we don't know exactly. So like, for all we know, it's just like a normal like just strike speed. You know what I mean? Like we don't know if it's like insanely fast where no matter what you can't dodge. Like you know what I mean? There's no proof for that. And for some reason, Six and Swag and Seth they love to do that shit. They always act like, oh yeah, like his Totsuka blade strike speed is so fast that Nagato couldn't even do anything and. Yada yada and all this, and it's like, no, bro. And this is separate. I'm not gonna go too much into this, but with the whole Nagato thing, they completely forgot that for one, Kabuto is controlling this fucking guy. Two, Kabuto even states that if he had mobility, that he could have been able to dodge something like that.
Yeah,
For
like,
some reason,
Nagato
Nagato didn't have
couldn't
mobility. Yeah, he couldn't move. And then 3, there was even like a smoke screen. You know what I mean? Like dust after destroying the
fucking explosion.
Yeah, so he couldn't even see shit. You know what I mean? Like, so like it was so dumb, and he didn't have like the linked Rinnegan vision. You know what I mean? Because he didn't have like all the paths or anything, and all his summons got cock blocked by Tachi's Shuriken Jutsu. Okay, which the reason why that happened was because they were focused.
Also another feat for Itachi, his intelligence and planning and all that shit.
Yeah, exactly. But and the only reason why that really happened either is because the summons are all focused on Killer Bee and Naruto, and then Itachi comes out of nowhere from analyzing everything. He was hiding at first, basically, and he analyzes everything, and he's like, all right, and then he throws all his Shuriken and immediately hits all their eyes, and then does Sano and saves their asses, basically. And that's fine, but I'm going to be real with you. I'm not going to get into this. It is a whole other topic. But if Nagato's fucking attention and focus was on Itachi, he's not pulling that same Shuriken feat. They would be able to move and dodge that. You know what I mean? That was more of a cut-off, like, guard type Shuriken moment. You know what I mean? Because they weren't focused on him.
Yep.
The way that the Rinnegan vision works is they have to look at you. You know what I mean? It's like cameras. Someone exactly. So if he just appears out of nowhere, and we know how fast Itachi is, and throws his shurikens, they're kind of fucked. They're not going to be able to, do anything because they didn't even know it was coming, unless one of them saw it, which clearly it didn't, And then not only that, it's fucking Itachi. He's like a prodigy with shuriken, That's like his thing.
Like the best.
So if anyone's going to be successful at pulling off a feat like that, it's fucking Itachi. So, but anyways, or better yet, I don't know if you remember that one anime episode where he throws the rock and it like fucking all those bullies that were fucking with him. Yeah, but that's how good. That's how fucking good his throwing is, bro. Like, get the fuck out of here,
Itachi filler.
Yeah.
The one that I would rank among the best with Kakashi filler as well.
Exactly. But anyways, since it's not getting more off topic.
Before Kaguya.
Yeah, but so. Overall, like with that being said, there's no way to know the actual speed. You can't quantify it. We just don't. Unfortunately, we do not have enough screen time of Itachi to be serious enough to have to utilize his Susanoo and use that as his main way of fighting, like how Sasuke did at the 5 Kage Summit and so on and so forth. We've never seen Itachi be pressed or forced to that point ever.
Yeah, being fucking have that,
Yeah, you know what I mean? The only people that would ever be able to push Itachi to that point would be like Madara or Obito. I strongly feel that. Or Pain, exactly. You know what I mean? There'd be just no way because and that's just it. You know what I mean? So the fact that we, could his Totsuka blade be just so fast there's no way of dodging it? Sure. Could it not? Sure. So meaning, therefore, if Obito, as long as Obito's moving, and he decides to not take a hit from that, then he's fine. You know what I mean? But if he relies on Kame, which 9 times out of 10 he does, if this happens, obviously, then he would be fucked. You know what I mean? And that's...
If you're right.
Yeah, but see... Yeah, but I will say this with Obito 2, which this is... I don't know how this would go. If Obito gets hit by the Totsuka, right? And it hits him, right? And, because of everything we discussed before. And that happens. Could Izanagi counter that? Like, does the Totsuka blade just negate anything from that point? You know what I mean? And he just gets sealed into, that one area where it's like, I think it's hell or something. I don't remember. I don't know.
It's the drunken dream.
Yeah, like that. Like, could Izanagi negate that or no?
I think it could, but it's another maybe, dude. We don't know.
Got you. So, I don't know, but the only reason I was saying that, because let's say, like, Itachi just gets straight up serious from, like, the get-go.
One more thing. I'm just gonna finish it. We don't know, but what we do know is you, in fact, fucking rewrite reality for yourself, if that shit. So, I think it could, but...
Right? Because reality over a hack's blade that seals anything it touches... Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't fucking...
It's still part of the reality.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So, I don't see why Izanagi couldn't be able to give him, a jail. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see why not. But, so, like, this is the way I see it going. Like, if Itachi is just immediately just bloodlusted, right? And just Susanoo, Totsuka Blade, and just charges at him and charges his sword or whatever. And Obito's like, oh, I got Kamui, motherfucker. Like, I'm used to just, whatever. Like, you think you're Susanoo? Because, come on, be real, bro. Like, if Obito is fighting Madara, you know what I mean, or whatever, and Madara does his perfect Susanoo, and then, and he's like, any last questions? And Obito just looks at me and he's like, sure, go for it, bro. And then he goes and just, Obito's still standing there. Like, Obito would still be standing there, and then Madara would be like, huh? And then he would use his intelligence and like, pay more attention, and then realize, it's his Mangekyo ability. So overall, I do feel like Obito, would use Kamui against a Susanoo user. I don't understand why he wouldn't. I think that'd be really stupid. Yeah, so
he wouldn't be risking that shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So if Itachi does that,
he doesn't have the durability.
Yeah, if Itachi does it and Obito decides not to jump out of the way, or maybe use like whatever the case may be, or whatever, and he just uses Kamui, which is in character, he's gonna get hit, and then Izanagi, and then from that point, now Obito knows that Kamui will not work against that, and he has to dodge it. That's the only reason why I was mentioning that, and that is important to put into consideration, because now that'll make it a lot harder for Itachi, And we all know Obito has higher stamina and chakra reserves due to the Hashirama cells and everything. Yeah. Unlimited vision, while Itachi does not have unlimited vision, okay, and only has, exactly, he doesn't have an EMS.
Like his durability feats are crazy, but I still don't think he would be just standing there and be like, yeah, fuck it, just hit me with that shit and I don't care. I'm just gonna withstand it. No, he wouldn't be doing that because it's stupid. It's like cockiness over the top.
Yeah. So,
but his durability feats are still crazy, and you cannot deny that shit.
Exactly. But yeah. So like that would happen whenever. So that's important to know for Obito. But I'm not gonna talk about Obito. But anyways, so that's overall just it for Itachi. That's the only way I could even foresee him being able to pull a W. But the problem is that the main problem for Itachi is he's on a time clock. He doesn't have all day. But what we do know for Itachi, this is also in character, that he always wants to finish the fight as quick as possible. For one, it's because of his nature and personality. He's a pacifist. And two, that's always what he does. He always wants to just get it over with. Yeah. You know what I mean? So he's going to want to get the fight resolved instantaneously, you know what I mean, no matter what, because it's just in character. So that's not an issue. But what the problem is, can he be able to pull it off 9 times out of 10, as he always does, in character, when he's going against a character like Obito? You know what I mean? So that's the first obstacle. You know what I mean? He's on a time clock, so he has to be able to get the W twice. Not once, but twice, okay? And that's the second thing. And third, what's it called? At that point, you know what I mean? That's just kind of what you're dealing with, and that's it. What I was going to say for the third, though, is that I totally forgot about this. This, I do feel like, could be a guaranteed W, but it's just... No, for Itachi.
Oh, for Itachi.
Yeah, this, I feel like, would actually be a guaranteed W, but the reason why... It's a guaranteed W if he uses it, but it's not really guaranteed because I don't know if he would be willing to go that far to use it.
Izanami?
Izanami. What do you think about that with Itachi? Do you think he'd go as far to use Izanami, which would work on Obito?
Yeah, it probably would, but because we know Obito, right?
Like, exactly. He's, exactly. And he's not willing to accept himself and same shit, yada, yada. And Naruto's basically talking to Jutsu as literally Izanami, basically, if I'm being real with you.
I'm gonna tell you this. I think he would be willing to do that because if you remember, he used it on Kabuto because he wanted to stop the war, right? And now he's fighting someone who actually we are talking about.
Oh, you know what? Wait, hold that thought. The battle scenario, okay?
Yeah.
Because we didn't even really mention this either. Do you want to do when he's as an Edo? And instead of him going to fight Kabuto, he goes to fight Obito.
Like, we could do the different versions if we are talking, like...
But see, no, if I do that, though, like, fucking, but then he has a Renegon, that's way different. No, I don't want, no, it's different. But, like, alright, alright, yeah, let's just stick to Orange Mask and Yellow. But okay, back to what you were saying. Just continue, my bad. Go ahead. I was getting ahead of myself.
Like, if you remember, he used it on Kabuto, right? Because
Yeah.
he needed to stop him. And now...
He couldn't kill him, though, that was the main reason.
Yeah, that's true, also. But, like... Kabuto was fucking strong, and he would, like, here in this scenario, he would be fighting someone arguably stronger.
Yeah.
I know we are talking about Orange Mask, but still. And the thing I didn't mention, I know some people hate it, but when Kabuto pulls up on Obito, and he has the fucking arrow there, like, Obito isn't phased at all.
Yeah, he's still being calm and collective.
He has fucking pain there, and Itachi.
I'm gonna be real there. I'm gonna be real though. I'm gonna be real with Kabuto. Like, I think that, like, it is hilarious. It is impressive because it really I'll never forget when I first saw that. And, like, he's not really, like, you know, whatever, right? He's like, psh, you know, he's like, fuck you. Yeah, but when he pulls, then for the first time we see this man in actual fear. You know, so, like, what's really interesting, the only, like debunk or, you know, or refutation that I could have for that is I feel like Obito was just keeping his calm and being calm and collective, you know what I mean, to make it show that he's not really worried or anything, to make, you know, Kabuto kind of at ease and to not want to fight. And the only reason why I go that far is because, for one, he doesn't really know how strong Kabuto is either. I'm just going to put that out there. And for two, when Kabuto pulls up all... Yeah, but when Kabuto pulls all the Edo Akatsuki members, I'm going to be really honest with you. If Obito has to deal with Kakasu, Deidara, Itachi, and Nagato, and Kabuto at the same time... Come on, bro. Like, don't get me wrong.
No, I'm not.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I love me some Obito, but Obito is fucked. That's like the worst situation he'll put up a fight. Don't get me wrong, but that's gonna be the worst situation for him because he can't use Genjutsu on Kabuto, unfortunately, and he has to. His main, you know, wins is gonna be Kamui Fire Style or Kamui Shuriken, you know, or Wood Style, and that's great and all. But, you know, Obito, I'm not trying to be a dick, but he's never shown any ceiling. Could he know some ceiling jutsu? Yeah, I would definitely probably say it's not impossible. He fucking...
Oh, definitely, dude. Definitely.
Yeah, he definitely would know because he learned from fucking Madara, but we've never seen him use it.
But he don't you remember with fucking Kushina?
Yeah.
Like, he had to know how that shit works.
Exactly.
And that was an advanced seal, man.
Yeah.
That wasn't some basic shit.
Yeah. So I'll say that. So I do think he would have ceiling. Now, to know how powerful its ceiling could be or whatever, that's a whole other thing. Kind of similar with Minato, where it's clearly stated that he did know other ceiling jutsus, but we don't know how powerful they were or what they were, unfortunately. It's just Kushina just stated that she taught him a bunch of ceiling jutsus, which I'm going to be real with you, it would make, in my opinion, which Noodles is a fucking retard. But he says Minato doesn't have any other powerful ceiling jutsu or whatever, which in my opinion is just stupid because why the fuck is he going to learn ceiling jutsus that aren't strong or can't deal with the tail beast? He's literally learning ceiling jutsus from the Uzumaki clan. They were literally the most feared clan in the entire world because of their ceiling jutsu. They were so feared that they had to be slaughtered, killed.
Yeah.
And then they fucking human traffic two fucking Uzumaki girls. You know, like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? So, like, it's so dumb to really think that he wouldn't have a strong or a good, pretty decent ceiling jutsu. But besides that, the reason why I'm bringing that up is I'm applying that for Obito. It'd be really dumb for him to have just weak shit ceiling jutsus. You know?
No.
So I do think he would have ceiling jutsus to be able to deal with the Edos and Seal, but this is the problem. He's going to have to be Kamuing 24/7, dealing with Kabuto, dealing with his hacks abilities, dealing with the Edos, all their attacks and everything, you name it. Okay?
No.
And the reason where I think it could be problematic is when he's having to deal with Nagato and Itachi. Okay?
Yeah.
Having to deal with them at the same time and fucking Kabuto, those are the main three he has to be worried about. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And then Sasori even though I wouldn't say he's nowhere near Pain and Itachi, Sasori is actually a really bad counter for Obito because his main thing is just spamming attacks. You know what I mean? Like just nonstop barrages of attacks and poison. And
Yeah,
that's
but
something.
he wouldn't be able to do that then because he didn't have the fucking puppets there.
Oh yeah, that's true. Sasori is basically useless in that fight. Then I totally forgot. So fuck Sasori. Never mind. I totally forgot about that. That's something I would have caught obviously when I did my research.
He
But
only used humans. Obviously, he doesn't have the poison.
Yeah. You're right. So
and also he used the fucking. I don't know his name, but it was size. The guy that he grew up with.
Yeah.
And used him as a fucking bomb.
Yep, that was the only thing he could do. Yeah, you're right. He was severely fucking nerfed when he was brought back. Yeah, so you're right. Fuck that. But anyways, the main three is Itachi, Nagato, and Kabuto. That's the main three. And I'm gonna be real with you. I love me some Obito. Yes, he has Kamui, he's a Nagi and everything, but it would only be a matter of time, and he'd be caught slipping, or better yet, he'd be forced to retreat. You know what I mean? It's that simple. Most likely. And then he would plan something, figure something out, and then come back, and then probably figure out a way to kill Kabuto. I don't see that being impossible. You know what I mean? Especially if he's able to get the Geto statue or the Rinnegan and everything. But anyways, I think that would go Kabuto's way. And not only that, if Itachi utilizes Kodo Matsukami as well as an Edo, like he did on himself when he saw Naruto, or better yet, if like the whole point of that was like if Naruto saw Sasuke's Mangekyo, or whatever. So I don't know if that would activate for Obito though. I don't know. If that does, then Obito's fucked. But I don't know.
I don't think it would.
I think that was only for Sasuke, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that would be out of the equation too.
Him because it's Itachi, but I don't think it would be. And also, Koro Amatsukami isn't fucking Tsukuyomi. Like if he knew he was under that shit, it wouldn't work. I'm certain it wouldn't work.
Oh, you don't think Kodo Matsukami would work on Obito?
No, because you do know how it works, right?
Well, yeah. Like I'm not gonna say like fully. You know what I mean? Like I have a brief understanding of it, but like all I do know is it's stated many, many times that Kodo Matsukami is the most powerful genjutsu. You know what I mean? And then it's and then not only that, like the problem with it is you don't even know that you're being controlled, and it just basically alters the user's will and in perception, and makes you basically do whatever the fuck you want. It did it literally to Itachi, to where he couldn't even negate it, to where he was literally doing what he was told by Kodo Matsukami, and then it also same shit was going to happen on Fugaku, who technically for resorting to anime and everything as well, also had a Mangekyo Sharingan. So I don't know. Like don't get me wrong, Obito's no joke, and his Genjutsu strong and everything yada yada, and he has a Mangekyo as well, but like Kodo Matsukami has been shown to work on Mangekyo users, so I don't know.
Yes, but only if you don't know you're under it. With the exception of Itachi, but you could argue there that he did. Like, why would he fight it? He wanted to do that shit. He planned that shit.
True, that is true. That is a good point. Yeah, because he knows he's being controlled by Kodo Matsukami.
Fucking place there. Like he did it as.
But it could be possible that he could not break out of it either, though, because if I actually think about it, I think there was a point where he tells Sasuke, even if I wanted to talk or whatever, I can't because of him being controlled. I think that actually was stated.
But remember when Danzo used it on fucking what's his name, Mifune? As soon as Ao said that he's
they broke him out of it.
And said like you're possibly under Genjutsu, and he was like, "Yeah, am I?" And then he was out of that shit, and he didn't break out of it.
One thing, yeah. One thing I will say though, Danzo was planning to use Kodo Matsukami on Madara though. That was he was like 100% confident that would be his automatic W, but he didn't know either to use it for Sasuke or to use it for Obito, and he was conflicted, and it was too late.
At the same time, he was like 100% confident that he can beat Sasuke.
Oh yeah, true.
fucking died 10
He died
times,
over and
wasted
over and
the
over and over.
Izanagi, over and over. Like, imagine Obito having 10 Izanagi, dude. Like, imagine that shit. What
All
he
I'm
would do
saying
with
though is like fucking. Well, actually, now thinking about it, even if Koto Matsukami worked on Obito, he could just Izanagi out of it though. Just saying. Like, regardless of the whole breaking out or if he could or not and yada yada, like, you know, and that would also just negate it too. Alters reality. So.
Alright, so moving on.
But moving on. But yeah, so moving on and whatever. I do strongly believe, and I was gonna have a video on that and everything. So spoiler alert for that. But I'll explain it more in detail and get into it and make it a pretty cool video of Orange Mask Obito fighting against Kabuto and like if they actually really decided to fight and how it would go. And then eventually I'll do like Rinnegan Obito versus Kabuto, which in my opinion at that point I still state that Obito would definitely be able to take it. I love me some Kabuto and everything and all his Edos. Like, yeah, he can summon all the fucking Edos he wants, but against the Rinnegan abilities and the Gedo statue, or better, or even if you even give fucking, well, actually no, Obito wouldn't have them because Edo. Never mind. I was trying to think. Well, okay, if Obito finds the corpses of the Jinchuriki, he can still control them. They don't have to be brought back by Edo. So that is confusing, though. I know we're getting a little sidetracked, but like they were Edos, right? The Jinchurikis, but Obito was just controlling them with the rod still. So what? Did they fucking destroy the bodies after they sealed them? What are they doing with all the Jinchuriki bodies? Like, so
I don't know.
They had to destroy them then, right? If they had to bring them back as an Edo?
Well, it's possible they were already fucking destroyed, but like decayed. Like,
Okay. So meaning Obito wouldn't be able to do what Nagato did with those other corpses then.
yeah.
Okay.
Even though Nagato's corpses, like young Jiraiya met those people.
Yeah.
And that was a long fucking time ago. So
yeah. But see, I'll say this though, like, obviously I'll do my research, it'll be a cool video and everything too, but as of now, my stance, Rinnegan Obito just even by himself would probably be more than fine to be able to deal with Kabuto and all his Edos and especially with the Gedo statue, you know, like, just saying, like, don't get me wrong, I know like Nagato and Itachi would be there too, but like, but the Rinnegan could basically negate everything Itachi throws at him, you know, and then he also has Kamui, and then the Gedo statue, like, it's crazy powerful. You know what I mean? Like, and if Obito wants to really be a dickhead and initiate the transformation, he could do that too, you know. And then what, you know what I mean? Like, that's even more of a powerful version of the Gedo statue. And I know Itachi has a Mataratsu, but like, but if Itachi does a Mataratsu on the Gedo statue, I do think Obito can just fucking, like, he could just probably maybe I don't know, get there before it does and just absorb it, or like, I don't think that would be an issue because I don't know. I don't know if the Gedo statue could be able to deal with the Mataratsu. I know it was able to deal with it when it transformed into the Ten Tails. But I don't know if the Gedo statue could be able to do that. Because everybody was always trying to take out the Gedo statue either with an axe ability. Like Kakashi tried to get rid of it with Kamui. Yeah, and he almost succeeded, but it was too late and it transformed. And then...
Obito negated it. Like, he straight up stopped it.
Oh, he stopped it? I don't remember that, but that's fine. I believe it. And then...
And Kakashi was like, what the fuck is going on? Because he didn't know it was Obito and he had Kamui and it was like, what the fuck is going on?
You're right.
I heard it stop. What the fuck?
Yeah. But no, I think there was even a point where he said he was going to snipe the head off or something.
Yeah,
was that same point?
Yeah,
okay.
That's what he tried to do. Yeah,
gotcha.
And it was like that happened. That he was like, "What the fuck is going
on?"
I never heard Kamui could be stopped.
Yeah.
That.
Yep. But don't forget, you know, data book statement in the Kamui, it says it is literally impossible, and once you get hit, there's no way escaping it, which is true. But when you consider Obito or, you know, Minato's another example, Flying Raijin. So, that's actually interesting though. Last time to get off topic. if Kakashi did Kamui on Minato, do you think he could be able to escape it like he did with Obito? Because I think that's a little different, though. Because I think with Kakashi's, once it locks on you, there's no escaping. You're going into that shit. But with Obito, it's more of as it's pulling you in, which I feel like that's why Minato was able to get away, right?
True. But we just don't know because we've never seen anyone who has teleportation abilities to deal with Kakashi's version of the Kamui, the left eye.
Yeah, because like, the only reason I'm saying that is like, and you know, because you know how like Uchiha always have two different abilities with the Mangekyou, even if they're similar, they're slightly different. And you know, so if even let's say Obito had that eye, and he did that Kamui, which God, he'd be broken. But if he did that Kamui, what's it called? Yeah. I don't think Minato would be able to get out of that for two reasons. One, what's it called? Remember, it would be double the speed, okay? And Obito literally stated himself and said that I'll just do it faster next time, and there's no way he's escaping, okay?
Yeah.
And so that's another thing. So for one, he wouldn't even be able to escape, okay? And then even if you were to argue, say, oh, Minato does escape, you know, still, you know, and let's say Obito did the same speed. Okay, if he still does the full speed again, he's done. Whatever, you know. Like, but anyways,
You forgot something. Is the long range Kamui? He doesn't need to get close to him.
Exactly.
Touch him.
Exactly. So you can just look at him and that's it. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if he does that, okay, which is, it's gonna happen no matter what, whether Minato likes it or not. He would have to just retreat and not fight him. Okay, which that's not happening. Okay. What's it called? Minato would get hit by it, and I don't think he could be able to teleport out of that. Not even just because of him having faster Kamui now, because I do believe that hacks ability, and it's even stated, once you get hit, you can't get out of it unless you have Kamui.
Yeah, unless you negate it.
I think only Kamui can. I don't think teleportation would be get out of jail free. That's I don't know. That's just me. It doesn't make sense. You know, like if it's the other Kamui, you know, where he's pulling you in and he has to touch you and everything, that's understandable. We literally saw it, you know. And but Obito even states in his confidence, wouldn't make any sense for him to imply something he can't do. But literally says when he does it again, he'll just do it faster, and there's no way of him getting out. You know, there's no way. Yeah. That's really dumb to say that wouldn't work. But anyways, so I don't know. That's just me with Kakashi. But anyways, we're leaving all that. We're going back. What's it called? Now we're going to go into Obito. Okay? Our boy Obito. So with Obito fighting against Itachi, this is basically how I can picture it. You know, and I'll talk about Bloodthirst and in character, but I'm going to stick to in character first. That's what we've been doing for Itachi. So for Obito, if it's in character, you know, and for some reason, like, Obito just had enough with Itachi's shit, and he's like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm killing you, taking your eyes, and doing whatever I want. That's how they start fighting, right? So they're going to go fight, whatever. And, you know, they go to fight. They're filling each other out, which would more likely happen. Okay. And then basically, this is the way I see it going. Like, either Obito's first main win con that I could see happening could be Genjutsu. So Obito could just Genjutsu Itachi. You know, and don't get me wrong. Obviously, I know Itachi's literally the Genjutsu GOAT. Okay, he's a specialist in everything, you name it. But we're still talking about Obito. Okay, Obito has crazy Genjutsu, and if he's using even Mangekyo, that's even stronger. Okay, and would take even longer to get out or whatever. So overall, like, if you have Obito do Genjutsu, and let's say he does hit Itachi, okay, if Itachi doesn't have a Shadow Clone or a Sub or anything like that or whatever, and Obito's able to activate it that fast, and he's not able to get out of it fast enough, he's dead. GG. Now, you could argue that Itachi could maybe do Izanami, you know what I mean? Not Izanami, Izanagi, because he's well aware of it. We never seen him use it because he was never pressed to that point, but he did know how to use Izanami, so, you know, just saying. But anyways, what's it called? But that could be a win con, and then if either Itachi just dies, or he uses Izanagi, and then now he's even more fucked. That just makes it worse for him. I don't even see that being a benefit. What's it called? So anyway, so there's that. Or let's say, you know, Obito goes to do Genjutsu, and you want to argue and say Itachi's Genjutsu can be able to compete, and they'd be fine or whatever, and doesn't really get anywhere, similar to the Sasuke and Itachi battle. Okay, whatever. Sure, they're fighting, they're going at it. Obito has fire style, he has wood style, all this other shit. Okay, he can be doing that while Itachi is doing his thing. And basically, the second main win con, obviously, would just be Itachi, just getting Kamui, basically. You know what I mean? To where somehow, some way, Obito's able to pull it off, and he Kamuis him. That's the second one. The third win con, I would also put into consideration. And this is just me kind of throwing it out there. It's not really fair for Itachi, but it is something Obito could be able to do if he wanted to. Okay? He could literally just Kamui away and leave and bring another Akatsuki member back to fight. Or, like Pain, you know what I mean? So then now imagine Pain having to come up and square against him too. Or he could Kamui, grab Sasuke, bring him and be like, hey, either do what I say or he dies. You know what I mean? Like, and it kind of has like a hostage, kind of similar to what he did to Minato, you know? So I'm just saying, I don't know, but either way, that's the main way I could see Obito being able to pull it off. It's either a Genjutsu, or 2, it's just Kamuing him, or 3, exploiting Itachi's, main concern and weakness, which would either be Sasuke, or the village, or better yet, just getting more fucking help to deal with him. You know what I mean? And Tachi only has so much stamina and chakra. He doesn't have EMS either. He'll be kind of fucked. He can't just be spamming shit all day, every day. So
there's something I want to mention. Like when people bring up Itachi's Susanoo, right? And not the Totsuka blade, but the Yatamir, right?
Yeah.
They will like, there is no fucking way Obito has anything to penetrate that. And
yeah, true.
I would be like, yeah, that's true, but he doesn't need to do that because we know from the war arc when
Obito could just Kamui, he could just go underground and then just go like from behind the Susanoo or go within, stuff like that. Now unless you want to make an argument for Itachi that he can be able to apply the Yatamir overall to his Susanoo, like
that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
You know what I mean? I know, but the only reason why I'm saying that is because it's kind of like a ratty argument, but then again, like maybe whatever, I don't know. And we never got to see Itachi go to his full potential either, or continue to be alive and train, you name it. But let's say if you're talking either by a hypothetical, or let's say we only didn't see it because Itachi just died and we would never know. Who knows? What's it called? If he could apply that overall to his Susanoo. Or better yet, let's say he could potentially even have a perfect Susanoo, which I know that's also a big stretch. But the reason why I'm even saying that is because Kishimoto went over the whole design and drawing for Shishui and Itachi's Susanoos and perfect Susanoos. And he went over it and everything. So I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, so for all we know, that either meant that Itachi would have had the potential to have a PS if he was still alive, and that's what it would have looked like, or Itachi could have done it, but he needed either the EMS to be able to do it, or his sickness and blindness was preventing him to be able to go to that next stage. We won't ever know, unfortunately.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We won't. Yeah.
So, but what I can at least say, if Itachi is, whether if he has PS or not, or what we saw in the end with the Sasuke fight, if he could apply the Yatamir, all around, all right, then he's basically goated. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because there is a statement where Zetsu says, "Oh wow, he has the Totsuka blade, and for this, which makes him, for to basically one shot anything, the Totsuka blade to block and defend against all attacks. He's basically invincible at this point.
The ultimate defense, and
and there's two ways you can take that. For one, they're just implying that in a sense because, yes, logically that would make sense. You're basically invincible at that point if you can be able to negate any attack and kill you with just one attack. You're basically invincible, But, there's that, and you have that interpretation, of where it's just basically implied like that's why he's invincible in a sense, but not overall. You know what I mean? To meaning that, like, the shield can only be used in one direction. So whether he can do that only in front or he can do that on the side and the back, but he has to move
Like,
it there or whatever.
Yeah, he can turn it around.
Yeah, like sure, whatever, great, you know. And then with the Totsuka, cool, whatever. But if you want to take that statement literal and make it imply to where he can embed the Totsuka blade or even the fucking Yatamir within his Susanoo, because it is a spiritual transformation, to where now his entire Susanoo is basically a Yatamir and Totsuka blade. You know what I mean? Like, then at that point he's fine. But that's a huge fucking stretch. And
But
then
even
3, like, if that was the case, that's just so fucking broken. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
what do you do?
Even if we are talking about Obito and he can just fucking kamui his ass into the Susanoo. That's what I was talking about before.
Well, yeah, but no, I mean, like, if he implies, like, if he, like, embeds the Yatamir and the Totsuka blade, like, into his Susanoo overall, like, all around, then he wouldn't be able to. That's why. But if he can only use the Yatamir or the Totsuka blade, you know what I mean, and utilize the Yatamir as, like, just one area, you know what I mean, or whatever,
Like,
then yeah, Obito can be able to just calmly through the areas that don't have a Yatamir around, you know?
No. Like, why wouldn't he be able to do that? He doesn't have to, like, go through it.
Well, remember what we discussed beforehand? The whole the statements and everything with how Kamu works and all that.
Oh, sure, but he can just appear there. He doesn't have to go through it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he could appear, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if he tries to go through it, that's not going to happen, though. You know?
No, but he can just appear there. That's what I'm mentioning. Like, that's what I'm fucking talking about.
Well, but because he could Kamui and, like, try to appear there, but he still has to Kamui overall in that area. And if Kamui can't, you know what I mean, like what we discussed and everything before, then technically he wouldn't even be able to do that either. Like, he wouldn't be able to go through it, and he wouldn't be able to Kamui it
If
either.
you want to argue that applying the Yatamir all over would negate that shit,
Yes.
then yeah.
Yeah,
Then
but that's
okay.
if. That's a strong if.
And I
And, you know, and I'm going to be honest, like if
Yatamir around.
yeah. I'm going to be honest, like,
Susanoo.
could maybe Itachi be able to pull something like that with training in years? I don't know, maybe. But
Yeah.
but if you really look at it, bro, like, if that's the case, nobody would be able to beat him. Nobody. You know what I mean? And that's really weird for Kishimoto to put something in like that, you know? And so what I really think it would be is it's just like two weapons and tools, just like earlier Orochimaru stated, you know, a sword and a shield. And you know how a shield works. You know, like, you just put it wherever you can, whether if it's behind, side, or in front, whatever. You know, so, and that's just that. And I believe it more likely to be like that. And that's fine. So, and with that being the case, then with that being said, then Obito can be able to Kamui anywhere where the Yatamir or Totsuka blade is not. And that's fine. And then that can obviously cause trouble, because kind of similar to when Gaara took Madara out of his Susanoo, you know, like, if that's happening with Itachi, then he's like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? And he's either going to have to react fast enough, but if he can't and he gets, you know, Kamui, that's it. GG. You know? Now, and that's basically it for Obito overall. And those are the main ways Obito could be able to pull it off. Now, one thing I will say, and this is kind of an interesting point as well for Itachi. I totally forgot about this. But do you think Itachi would pull what the Nine Tails did for the plan to either utilize a clone? You know what I mean? Obviously, Itachi would have to utilize a clone or something. But what's it called? Remember what the Nine Tails did when he threw Kakashi into Obito's Kamui, and then Kakashi was attacking from the inside? Do you think Itachi would be able to think that intelligently and maybe use a clone and have that clone get Kamui and see what it can do from the inside?
Yeah, it would be, but I'm gonna tell you this right
I don't
now.
know.
If Obito knows it's a clone, he's not gonna fucking do that. He's not fucking stupid. Like, if he can choose between Kamuing the clone and not doing that, if he's like not driven into a corner, then he's not gonna fucking do that.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I'm just saying, like, fucking, if it is a clone and he does Kamui it, like, you know, that could obviously fuck him over because now he has a clone inside of him. And so basically, Itachi, the real version, is still going to be pressing him while the other one's in his dimension. And so if he ever does combo, he just gets fucked from the inside and that's it, GG.
Yeah.
So, and that'll be that. But yeah, no, I get that. Obito would probably be able to. But see, that is a thing though, too. One thing I will state as well is for the Sharingan, you are able to see chakra and everything and you name it. But there is something that where it is stated where, like, if you distribute your chakra evenly and everything with your clones, they actually can't distinguish which one is you. That works for the Bakugan and the Sharingan. So, that was during in part 1. So, I'm just saying, like, fucking, like, this is something to keep in mind, whether how far you want to take that into consideration, and if you still think with Obito's intelligence, and he would still know if it's maybe a clone or whatever. That's just that, but...
Because Itachi is not doing the fucking Naruto shit when he just does 1,000 of clones and you have no idea which one is like who.
True.
So
True.
if there is Itachi and he does the shadow clone jutsu and Obito can clearly see it, then he's not gonna be... He won't do that shit. Like, he's not fucking pulling that off.
Yeah, well, Itachi could be able to pull it off, like a shadow clone or sub, or he even did it with the explosion shadow clone. He did it so fast where none of them even realized,
Yeah,
and then Kakashi,
if he saw it, like if Obito.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like if he saw it, like what's it called? Then yeah, he probably wouldn't want to Kamui that, whatever. Cause he'd just probably just try to just deal with it like any other person, just make it poof, But it is something I could, I don't know, like I could see Itachi trying to pull that. It'd be interesting and it would be smart. But that can basically be like an either way thing. And the only reason why I'm saying I don't see why he could be able to pull it off either is because Kakashi does this shit all the time. It's just in character. He's always using substitution or shadow clones to gauge his enemy's strength and everything and come with a counter strategy. And then Itachi, at the end of the day, if he's fighting someone strong enough, he will utilize shadow clones over substitution. And throughout the whole fucking show of Naruto, like 9 times out of 10, characters never really know when you are using the shadow clone to sub. It's kind of like the whole point. You know what I mean? It's kind of either to create an opening, to catch them off guard, or better yet, to make sure you don't die while charging at them, So, I don't know. I'm just saying. But, either way, that's just that. And that's basically all it is between those two, What's it called? When I do eventually come out with that short video, it's going to be like between like 5 to 10 minutes. Not going to be too crazy as like what we've done so far. But I'll just keep it very brief, go over both characters and, how it would go and so on and so forth and yada yada and go from there. So.
Yeah, just the suggestion, since we talked about this for such a long time, like to end this, I would just briefly go all over the different versions, just briefly, not in depth like this, just briefly. Just
gotcha. Yeah.
So, Kid Obito to Kid Itachi, I believe Itachi would win because if you remember, Obito didn't have shit. Yeah. Then like.
And you have Yellow Mask and Itachi with just a Sharingan no Mangekyo, and obviously that's.
No, he would have Mangekyo.
There's a Itachi at a certain point where he doesn't have Mangekyo. So if you want to like be fair for Obito and go over those versions, then But obviously that's bad. That's Obito winning that shit.
yeah, for sure.
If it's just Sharingan, like don't get me wrong, that Itachi is very strong, but
I'm talking about the years. I'm taking the years into consideration, like 14-year-old Obito and 14-year-old Itachi. And Itachi did have the MS by that point.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's fine.
That would be interesting, but Obito fucking had the 9 tails and
even with the 9 tails, I don't really even see the 9 tails being a problem because Totsuka Blade or Amaterasu, that's all he has to do to take care of the 9 tails. It's that simple. And he would still be able to deal with Obito.
Alright, but I don't believe he had the Susanoo at that point. Like he unlocked the fucking MS, right? He had it and he was getting used to it, but I don't believe he had the Susanoo at that point.
Yeah, well, when you have Mangekyo, you're basically guaranteed a Susanoo. It's just when they learn to either utilize it or activate it.
Yeah.
And then the way Itachi is, he's like a fucking prodigy, like a genius. He's always ahead of the game and the curve. And if
Like,
if Kakashi could be able to utilize a goddamn Susanoo towards the end, I don't see why Itachi wouldn't be able to. So, like, and even Shishui was able to do that shit with one fucking eye, you know. And Shishui and Itachi were very. Yeah. I know it's in the game, but Kishimoto even like designed that and everything, created it and whatnot, and Shishui does have Mangekyo Sharingan, which is confirmed in manga and in so like I don't see why he wouldn't have a fucking Susanoo. It's really dumb to say he wouldn't, but what's it called? But yeah, like, and they're basically those two always compare to each other, the relative, even though it was always confirmed that Shishui is still stronger than Itachi for some reason. What's it called? But anyways, with that being in mind, like, I could talk about that version, but like, if I'm going based off Naruto and and everything that's presented around that time, I mean, there's a lot of like not really knowing what Itachi can do at that point, and that's kind of like unfair for the guy. And if that's the case, then he's kind of going to be taking an L. You know what I mean? Because at that point, like, I don't even know if he even knows how to use Izanami at that. Well, actually, no. It's just weird. You know what I mean? Because Itachi clearly has all the knowledge about the Sharingan.
I don't believe at that point he would be able to do that. He would know about it.
Well, the thing is, though, like, he knows about it. It's just, obviously...
Yeah, but he's 14 years old. Yeah. Like,
true, but he would still know about Izanagi and Izanami. Like, he with his clan and everything, and he knew everything about Sage Mode, all the stuff with, Konohan Village and everything. Like, he studied everything, all jutsus, you name it. So, like, I believe he would be able to know, but would him using that? I don't know about that. Because with Izanami and Izanagi, like, they're forbidden jutsus for a reason. So, and it's part of the Uchiha clan and everything. And so I know Itachi would know, but just then again, like, for him to know if he could even use it, I don't know. Which it could go either way. Because the problem with Izanagi and Izanami, you can only use it once. So it's not like you have a way of training to be able to utilize it either. You know what I mean? Like, because if you think about it, if you try to train to use Izanagi or Izanami, or you know what I mean, like, you're gonna figure it out and use it, and then guess what? You lost a fucking eye. Yeah, so meaning Itachi would have to know the history behind it, which he did, and the secret to be able to activate that forbidden jutsu. So I don't see why he wouldn't be able to do it, but as of like, would he use it or whatever? I don't know, but I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't see why he could be able to use that. It's not a really big deal. But the reason why I'm saying it's kind of like, an unfair fight or whatever is, for one, Obito is still cracked at that point, while Itachi is learning to utilize his Mangekyo Sharingan. Like, it's literally shown in the anime and everything, like, to where he's like, oh, wow, like, I didn't know I could shoot black flames out of my eyes. Well, that's cool. Great. When he does it to that one dude, the Mizukage, So, he's kind of still feeling out his abilities. But, okay, what we do know that he can use, what we know for a fact is Tsukiyomi. That we do know. We know he can use that. We know he should at least know how to activate Izanagi and Izanami. Okay. And then 3, the only thing we don't know if he can do, which isn't really shown until he's in the Akatsuki, is a Mataratsu. So from that point, I would say it's very logical to assume that he can't use a Mataratsu at that point because he's just not aware of it or doesn't know how yet. But if he's pushed enough, which did happen when the guy went into V2, then it just came out naturally. You know what I mean? So I feel like if he's fighting against someone that's as strong as Obito, it would come out just like it did, and then he'll be like, okay, cool, that's what I can do with that. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, like, that's basically that. And then another thing, one thing to not forget, the Itachi at that point, that's when he pressed Obito. And he went up to him, he's like, hey, I know who you are, blah, blah, yada, yada. You're going to help me slaughter the Uchiha clan and do as I say. And then Obito's like, well, what if I decide not to? And he's like, then we'll fight here now, and that'll be that. and I'll kill you. Basically, that's basically what Itachi says. And then Obito's like, all right, well, that's interesting. And he's like, well, that's fine. I'll be willing to help you, whatever. But I have one condition. He's like, what is that? Do not use your Sharingan against me. And that's it. So at that point, Obito is, at least from Obito gauging him or whatever, it's either for some reason Obito still views Itachi at that point as a threat, okay, and is not underestimating him, whatever, and is showing some level of fear, which we discussed, all in the beginning. Whatever.
And
so
this is older Obito. It's not 14 years old.
Well, no. This is the younger one. This is before the Uchiha massacre in this incident.
Yeah, but he's older than he was when he fought Minato, and that was the version I was talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. You're talking about that.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay, yeah. So if it's that fucking,
I know Itachi's powerful, but you're not telling me that he's beating Obito with those feats that he pulled off against Minato. I know.
Yeah, so with Obito around, with the whole Minato point, and because at that point, that's when Kakashi's like a kid. I remember he was holding like Sasuke, and he saved his mom. Yeah,
and Itachi is like 5.
And he only had a shotgun. Yeah, he would get fucking washed.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know he would, but I'm not talking about that Itachi.
You're talking about the Mangekyo Itachi when he first gets Mangekyo after Shishui's death.
I'm thinking
so
years. I'm thinking years of generation.
So with that point,
10 years old Obito and 10-year-old Itachi, or 8 or some shit, and then I moved on to 14 years old Obito. And
Gotcha. Yeah, so
and Itachi was 14 when he was 13 when he killed the clan and joined the Akatsuki, and Obito was already 14 when he fought Minato, and by that time Itachi was like 5.
Yeah, exactly. So if that's the case, my bad. So with that being said, so this is what I'll say on this. Okay, it's if it's Obito pulling up, I even talk about the Nine Tails first. If it's Obito just pulling up with the Nine Tails, and this is when Itachi just got his Mangekyo and everything, okay, you could be able to argue that fucking Itachi could be able to utilize Tsukiyomi on the Nine Tails, okay, or whatever, or even a basic, or a Sharingan, and just so the Nine Tails can kind of be, either it's going to be a tug of war at that point. That's fine, whatever. But what I'll keep to keep it very short and sweet. I'm not going to get too crazy into it. With the Nine Tails being in there and Obito, and this is during a point where Itachi's still feeling out his Mangekyo, okay, and getting accustomed to it, I do feel like Obito 9 out of 10 times is winning that shit, and just it's just a W in his favor. And the only reason why is because Itachi's going to have to deal with pressure from the Nine Tails, deal with Obito. Okay, and Itachi is very, very strong, and we at least know that he can use Tsukiyomi at that point, okay, and everything, and knows about Izanagi and Izanami as well. But it's just, it's just really weird to try to argue in favor for Itachi when he's just going to be more at a disadvantage. And it's not really fair because, once again, he's still in the process of working with what he just got, So, and that's the main point with that, Could somehow, some way, Itachi fucking pull it off from like the fucking Kishimoto writing that we've seen throughout the whole show? Maybe. Perhaps, who knows? Perhaps, okay, yeah. Perhaps. Maybe he out of nowhere just whips out a Mataratsu, Nine Tails taken care of, and or better yet, does like Tsukiyomi, Nine Tails out of the picture, and he's dealing with Obito and somehow pulls it off, or I don't know, fucking summons Susanoo. I don't know. Who the fuck knows? But if I'm being real with you, it's very, very unrealistic, very unreasonable for him to have everything, all his cards on the table to allow him to fight effectively against Obito. And at that point, I just feel like it's more of a disadvantage and more unfair, and he's just gonna lose. It's just that simple. Whatever.
Yeah, but what I noticed here is you even brought this up in your fucking 5 Kage Summit Sasuke versus Sage Mode Naruto video. You always talk about Amaterasu when it comes to Kurama, right? But can't he do the very same thing that Naruto always does with the fucking cloak?
I don't. The only reason why I don't think so is because when it comes to the full transformation of the Nine Tails, he never ever shows like utilizing a chakra cloak all over himself. It's just him being a big ass rampant beast. You know what I mean? He has like chakra like inside of him and everything that like the Silver Brothers or devouring and shit. Like we know it's inside and everything and whatnot, but from the outside, I don't know. I don't think so. Like I don't know. Like the only tail beast we ever seen him even do something like that was the Ten Tails, but the Ten Tails is kind of like a weird ass entity. It doesn't really obey the rules of I don't know, simple shit, I guess. Like it literally just was moving its own skin and just fell off. What's it called? But for the Nine Tails, if it just hits the Nine Tails, it's just basically just going to start devouring it, and it's going to be in pain and just more likely just get incinegrated. Like the Nine Tails would have to time a QB cloak right when Itachi does that, and it's just not going to happen because he's going to be on a rampage or trying to kill Itachi or whatever. Itachi's going to be running around and shit, and could do a Mataratsu, and then it hits him out of nowhere. He's like, huh? And then it's just putting him in pain, and that's it.
Right.
So
that's fair. That's fair.
Like the only reason why that really happened with Naruto, or would happen at least against a V2 version, is because for one, the chakra is already there, or two, technically Naruto had to time that. Mm-hmm. So and then he just dropped it as a glob, but. That's all I'll say. It could be possible. It's not, like it's like, there's no way, But overall, like, yeah. But let's move on. Either way, all I'm saying is Obito more than likely takes that W 9 out of 10 times. They could somehow, some way, Itachi pull it off. Sure, whatever. It's fucking Itachi. So then you get to Itachi
Orange
when
mask,
he's
Orange Mask and.
Well, I would even go as like Akatsuki Itachi. To where he is familiarized with his Mangekyo abilities and his Susanoo and shit. Not even sick. You know what I mean? And if you want to put that against Obito and the Nine Tails, I still, at that point, Itachi could more than likely be able to pull the W. What's it called? But Obito could too. You could argue for Itachi, that's fine. And maybe he has a lot more wins. I don't know, because at that point, Obito is also using a chain. Which, don't get me wrong, is really cool and effective, but like, if Obito is using a fucking chain on a goddamn like shadow clone or whatever, or better yet, if Itachi does a Mataratsu on his chains, that's kind of useless at that point. Either way, you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So overall, it can go either way. I do feel like it would potentially favor more for Itachi. I feel like he could just be able to pull off a similar feat Minato did. But either way, that's just kind of that. Then we get to Orange Mask Obito with beginning Akatsuki Itachi.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah, and we talked about that basically the whole time. I already kind of went.
Then we get to the main.
Then we get to the sick
Rinnegan Obito.
Yeah, then we get. Well, we'll talk about also sick and blind Itachi fighting against Orange Mask Obito. I'm gonna be real with you. I love me some Itachi, but his stamina and chakra is even more crippled. His vision and everything. And I'm gonna be real with you. Don't get me wrong. He's still so fucking strong at that point. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, but I really do believe Obito is taking that no matter fucking what. You know what I mean? I don't really. That's just, it's unfair for Itachi. Like, if could he be able to pull it off? Once again, it is Itachi. Sure, but that's back to the same exact point we said in the beginning. With Yellow Mask Obito with the Nine Tails fighting against Itachi when he first has Mangekyo, like it's very unfair. It's very unlikely and unreasonable for Obito to lose that, and that's just that. So you have that. Then you have Edo Itachi, okay, which in my opinion is the strongest. Yeah, in my opinion, the Edo Itachi is like the strongest version we've seen so far. Yeah. Even though it is a nerf, but it definitely makes him more powerful for X, Y, and Z. And that Itachi, I feel like he'd be able to beat all the Obitos beforehand with his intelligence strategies, you name it. Because Obito, the reason why Obito has such a fucking problem is he has to seal him. Kamui's not even really an effective measure either for him, if I'm being honest with you. He's going to have to fucking seal him. And with that being the case, that just makes it more harder for Obito to deal with. And overall, and that I feel like that's favors for Itachi more, and he could definitely pull the W. Then you have Itachi as an Edo against Rinnegan Obito.
Yeah, as an Rinnegan Obito.
And I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not gonna get into that too deeply yet, because I do want to kind of do more research and homework on that, and then really give my thoughts. But as of now, if I had to pick one or anything, okay, Obito more than likely wins in that fight. Especially with the Rinnegan abilities You know, he can summon
he can just
things.
absorb.
He can have Ghetto. You know,
He can
he
absorb.
basically he has basically all ways to be able to counter anything Itachi throws at him.
Yep.
The only way Itachi could pull a W, you know what I mean, is obviously Izanami, or two, fucking if Obito was to still, you know, think that he could combo against the Totsuka Blade or whatever, you know, or then again, one thing I can say is, what wins? Does the Totsuka Blade win or Shinra Tensei? That's also a very good question. You know what I mean? And Shinra Tensei consists of all 5 chakra natures, just like the Yata Mirror, okay, and everything. And which is why it negates everything and you name it. So in the Totsuka Blade, we know it's a spiritual weapon that whatever it pierces, it just uses a hacks ability and seals. But Shinra Tensei prevents whatever is trying to touch you. You know what I mean? And it's like a force, and it's all chakra nature. So it's like if the Totsuka Blade was going against the Yata Mirror. What wins? You know what I mean? So at that point, it's like either Shinra Tensei just blasts away the Totsuka Blade and it can't touch, you know, or just negates it and maybe makes the Totsuka Blade disappear. I don't fucking know. Or fucking the Totsuka Blade can go through Shinra Tensei for some reason because it's a spiritual weapon, and it just, you know, whatever. I don't know. Overall, all I'm trying to say is it's more in favor with Obito. More likely takes it. He has the stamina, wood style, Rinnegan, you know, you name it.
He also has the fucking Predator Path absorption.
Yeah,
Like,
he has all those abilities. He also has the Ghetto statue. You know,
it's from chakra.
Yeah. You know, he has the Ghetto statue as well. Now, yes, Itachi could just Amaterasu the Ghetto statue or just Totsuka Blade it. That's fine, whatever. But at the end of the day, Itachi still has to deal with Obito. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and unless Itachi can pull the W on Obito, that's going to be very, very fucking hard. Because the Rinnegan makes up and compensates for Kamui's weaknesses. That's the problem. The only reason why Obito wasn't really using the Rinnegan's abilities when he was fighting against Naruto and all of them, which in my opinion I thought was really stupid, was because they already technically knew the abilities, you know, and that, you know, it would just basically make it useless, which I don't agree with that. That's what was stated, you know, but overall, like, that's just that and whatever. While Itachi, he doesn't know about the Rinnegan's abilities. He doesn't. The only person that really knows was Kakashi and Naruto.
And Nagato.
Yeah, exactly. So, just saying, so meaning Itachi has to deduce and analyze what's happening, why it's happening, then realize, you know, which he would be able to, you know, and he'll be able to, but either way, all because he's able to figure out what those abilities are and everything, doesn't really mean anything. Yeah, he can try to come up with counter strategies or whatever to deal with Obito and everything, but, like, it's, you know, it's going to be very, very fucking hard, you know? So, overall, Obito more likely takes it. Could Itachi pull it off? Sure, whatever. But that's for Edo. If it's Itachi in the Akatsuki, like prime health or whatever, okay, I feel like this is very unfair for Itachi. And the reason why is because, like, Itachi is basically being put into a battle where he only has so much time, okay? Because remember, he only has so much chakra and stamina, okay? It's not that it's shit, but it's nowhere near to the point of Obito's. If it was going to be like an all drawn out fight, you know what I mean? So he's going to have to end the fight quickly, and that's very tough to do against a Rinnegan user and a user with Kamui. You know, that's very fucking hard. You know, so it's going to take a bit, and by the time he's even able to realize how to beat him and everything, you name it, whatever, and even if he could pull it off or not, he's more likely just not going to have enough chakra or stamina and just get Kamui or killed or whatever, you know. So all those versions more likely lose. The only way Itachi could really have any remote chance would be Izanami, and that's basically it, you know, or whatever. Either way, overall, what the, you know, bottom line is, when it comes to the whole Itachi versus Obito, okay, Itachi will always have the potential and capability to more than likely pull a W against Obito. It's fucking Itachi. It's that simple. For all the people that are out there that really think Itachi can't beat Obito or whatever, or it would never happen, it's really, really dumb. You know what I mean? It's literally fucking Itachi. We
still got one more version, dude. We still got Jubido.
Hell no. It's not happening.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to
Jubito.
say,
Yeah,
if you
Jubito.
think Itachi can do anything in any of his forms, you're
Yeah.
fucking insane.
No, Jubito. If it's Itachi and Jubito, before Itachi could even blink, he's dead. Okay. Or better yet, even if it's Edo, okay, and it's against like psychotic, mindless Jubito, sure, he might not be dead right off the bat, but it's going to take a good bit for him to come back, okay? And then when he comes back again, then he'll just use his orbs, which negates Edo, and that's it.
I believe we agree on this. Like, do I even need to talk about it? No.
No, like there's not even a need to talk about it. Like the only way Itachi could even be effective against Jubito or anything remotely is if he has some fucking people around him to take the death blows for him. Like especially if it's like mindless Jubito. And I'm gonna be real with you. If Itachi is able to land a Totsuka blade on him while he's distracted or kind of just all over the place, you name it, and even taking attacks because he doesn't care. Yes, it's Jubito, but Jubito can't negate a Totsuka blade. That ain't happening. You know what I mean? Like it's a hack's fucking blade.
He's not landing that.
You know what I mean?
He's
So
not landing that. He's not.
well, if Itachi was there with everyone in the war, it could happen. I could see it. But like if it's just Itachi by himself, no, he's dead.
With the speed that Jubito had,
it doesn't even matter because there are certain points. Yeah, no, I know.
Fucking hit him.
No, yeah. No, what I was saying is like there's certain points where Jubito is like kind of immobilized, or better yet, he's not even moving or doing anything, and then everyone just immediately starts attacking him, and he's just eating it, and he's like, okay, and then he starts fighting.
At the beginning. Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, so if that's the case or whatever, then yeah, maybe whatever. But either way, like. That's just that. Like, if Edo Itachi was actually there in the war for some reason, somehow, some way, okay, let's say he pulled a fucking Madara and just cancel, whatever, and then just gets up in there, and while they're all doing their thing, there'd be plenty of opportunities for Itachi to land a Totsuka or whatever, and that's that. Like, if Tobirama is able to fucking do shit, and everybody else, because literally Jubito is letting them, Itachi would be able to too. So... Yeah, now, and if it's and that's at the beginning, obviously. But either way, even if it is at the beginning, and if it's just Itachi there, no, he's fucked. That's it. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. And then if it's Jubito as like in control, hell no. Like, hell fucking no. Like and then people probably try to pull up the argument like, oh well, Sasuke Susanoo was able to react and protect. Naruto before Jubito could kill him. So yeah, Itachi Susanoo should be able, no. Like, it's just not happening. All because he's able to react, you know what I mean, and to be able to protect Naruto or whatever, doesn't mean fucking Itachi is going to be able to just speed blitz him or land a Totsuka, or anything like that. Sure, maybe he could be able to react to protect someone or whatever, but that's just, there's a difference between reacting and then not only that, to really throw that out the window. After that happens, when Sasuke threatens Jubito, he's like, the only one that will cut off, Naruto, whatever, is me. That's literally what he says. Jubito gets mad and speed blitzes both of them, grabs their fucking face, and is about to kill them.
Yeah.
So, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, it was just a moment. He saves Naruto momentarily, and then he talks his shit, and then Jubito gets mad and speed blitzes. He literally speed blitzes every single fucking person there.
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
It is literally stated that he's on a whole other level of power. Hashirama even states as an Edo, and I would even say even alive, that he is stronger than him. Like, this, no. Enough. It's so fucking dumb. I love Itachi, but you gotta give it, you know what I mean? You gotta call it quits when it's there, bro.
Yeah.
The only thing I will say, though, and this is the only thing I will say, and this is just a quick question. I'm not saying this would happen. Would Izanami even work on Jubito?
Well, actually, like
because Itachi would have to initiate the steps. You know what I mean? To do Izanami anyways. Let's not forget that because he had to do that with Kabuto, and that's not happening. Which is why it wouldn't even be a W. But let's say if for some reason,
process.
Yeah, exactly. There is a process to do it. But let's say for some reason, what's it called? Like if he was able to activate it for some reason, or let's say he miraculously did that process, would that actually work on Jubito? Even though he's 6 paths?
Maybe it would, because he still
You
had
still think it would?
within him. Maybe it would. He
I don't
still
know.
had conflict, but like
I don't know. Like it's just, I think he could imagine that shit if he uses it on him and it doesn't work. And he just looks at him. He's like, "Really?" And it's not just like, "Oh."
yeah, it's difficult to say.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. At the end of the day, you can't use it in an argument because it would never get to that point. You'd just be fucked. But you know,
you don't have evidence or anything to support that.
yeah, like yeah, he could be an Edo, like, and that can maybe allow him to do one step, but that's one fucking step. You know, like Izanami I think was a 4-step process, if I remember correctly. It's I think A, B, and C, 3 steps, right? Yeah, A, B, and C. That's what it was. So, anyways, that's the whole fucking Obito and Itachi shit. But hey, what's it called? I had fun talking, chilling, debating, not debating, kind of vibing and shit. Well, I know we only
Couldn't even get to the other stuff, yeah.
yeah. We'll get to the other stuff, you know, and I apologize,
But it's fine. It's fine. I wanted to finish this off. Like,
yeah.
the main thing I wanted to do.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And what's it called?
Like, I would say we went into deeply, dude. Like,
Yeah. Well, out of curiosity, though, what do you? What was the other topics that you had in mind? Like, it was just a heads up. What was it?
Just some battles here. Just some battles.
Oh, okay.
Want to hear about it?
What do you think about Rinnegan Obito versus Edo Rinnegan Madara?
Oh, oh god.
I think Madara wins, to be honest, but like Obito could be able to he's like the only fucking character at that point that would be able to last long enough because of Kamui, but
yeah,
you know.
yeah, that's true.
But like I feel like with Madara doing his clones and you know what I mean, like, and fucking.
She had a matchup here that was similar. Here,
what's that?
wait, I had a matchup here written down that was similar. Sage Madara, you know, the alive one, when he fucking negged the Hashirama Sage mode versus Jubito.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about like Sage mode, alive Madara?
Yeah, when he negged the fucking.
Does he have his
Hashirama
Rinnegan? Both eyes or no eyes?
No eyes.
No eyes.
Maybe one eye, like when Zetsu gets the fucking eye.
Because if he has no eyes, I think Jubito is still going to win. That's just because, you know, like the 6-path transformation, just how powerful he is. But
And if it's one eye, just one, not two, because he.
Yeah, but if he has one, which each eye does amplify him tremendously. What's it called? You know, and with that limbo ability, that shit is crazy.
But keep in mind, he would be able.
Oh yeah, he would. Yeah, because the Rinnegan and he's 6 paths. Yeah.
Not the Rinnegan, just 6 paths. Rinnegan doesn't help you with that. It's 6 paths.
Oh, only
Like,
6 paths? I thought it was the Rinnegan too. Oh, okay.
Like it's a Rinnegan ability.
Yeah.
But if Sasuke didn't have 6 paths,
he still wouldn't be able to see him then. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not even the internet. Like Naruto couldn't see them, but he could sense them.
Yeah. Yeah. No. If it's like I love me Madara, but I don't know, bro. I don't think he's taking Jubito because like he has like Sage Mode to a degree, but it's not like on the same extent of Hashirama though. You know. Like he has Hashirama cells, he absorbs some of his Sage art, but even Madara says, "Oh, this is all you got. It's pretty trash," and that's it. You know, like it's nowhere near to the same caliber of like Hashirama.
It's easy to understand and to use.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it'd be it'd be interesting. Like, I feel like Madara would be able to hold off his own for a good bit, you know, whatnot. But like
Madara was
I think
really fucking confident he could take on Obito. To just, you know, defeat him and then just switch roles with him.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah, I would have to rewatch that part of the war in the anime, and then maybe briefly go over the manga as well to kind of give my final thoughts on that because I don't know, like from Jubito is no fucking joke. I mean, he's crazy power. Like he climbs up the stairs like pretty fucking high.
Yeah,
You know,
they fucking talked about.
yeah, and like don't get me wrong, a live Madara with Renegons and everything is very fucking powerful. You know, but like like the Renegon abilities aren't really going to be able to do that much against Obito because Obito's like Truth Seeker orbs and on all that shit, and he literally has Renegon abilities, but on 6 pass levels as well. You know, so like he has all that, and so I don't really think Renegon is really going to do anything for Madara. And the main thing that Madara has would just be his perfect Susanoo, and along with some sage art juice. So it's going to be even more powerful.
But
and
just so you don't throw your battle in a fucking trash can.
Yeah, like if Madara if Madara goes into like perfect Susanoo, and he has enough Sage Jutsu power, because only Sage Mode can hurt Jubito. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if he has enough Sage Juice, okay. Sorry. If he has enough Sage Juice, and he like goes to strike his perfect Susanoo or whatever, and I mean you could. I don't see why, because Sasuke, just EMS Sasuke and KCM2 Sage Naruto, not even 6 paths, were able to break through his Truth Seeker orbs when they did the QB, the Majestic Susanoo transformation. They were able to break through Obito's black orbs and shit. You know what I mean? So if they could do it, and we definitely know Alive Madara was stronger than those 2 versions, okay? He dealt with them with ease. You know what I mean? Then maybe he could be able to go through all those orbs as well. And if he's able to hit Jubito, it'll cut through, and you know what I mean. Then it's going to do like that same moment with the tug of war and go from there. But I don't know. Like what I mean. I feel like it still is going to favor in Jubito's favor. But could Madara be able to pull it off? Possibly.
Yeah.
Like, and another thing I will say too, which I thought this was interesting, which some people thought this is just dumb, but I thought of Jubito versus Alive Hashirama and Alive Madara. You know what I mean? Like, if it was,
I think Sed or Swag did that.
Yeah, like, and the way I see that, like, if it's just Madara with the even Madara with the EMS, like even if you don't even give him the Rinnegan, which does make him more powerful. Like, I'll even go as far with the EMS. If they both did, if Hashirama goes into Sage Mode, does his big-ass wood style thing, right? And then Madara does his fucking Perfect Susanoo and goes over that, I don't know, bro. I'm pretty sure Jubito's going to be getting fucked on that attack.
Well... I don't know, like, wouldn't he be faster than that?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even think it would even get to that point, because, like, if they first pull up on him, I think Jubito would just basically straight up speed blitz and kill them both. But, like, if Madara and Hashirama were able to get to that point, and be in that form, I do think they could be able to tank attacks and hurt him. That'd be pretty insane.
Well, only Hashirama, though, because Madara doesn't have Sage Mode.
Well, true, but the thing is, like, Hashirama in Sage Mode with his wood full power transformation was able to completely shit on the Majestic Susanoo, which is insane. Like, he just immediately shitted on that. So, like, picture Hashirama's wood style transformation with Sage Mode along with what Sasuke did with Naruto. You know what I mean? Like, with the Susanoo covering all that. I'm pretty sure that would be able to, do damage to him. If Sasuke and Naruto could do it, there's no way you ain't gonna tell me Hashirama and Madara can't do that. That same feat.
I get it.
But that's if it even gets to that point. And obviously I don't think it would, because Jubito's not gonna be an idiot unless he's the mindless version. Then sure, but if he's in control, then he's not gonna let them fucking go to their fusion form and like fucking. But if it's like and then if it's Rinnegan Madara. And Hashirama working together to fight him, and they're both like alive, I think that they could have a pretty good chance. But then again, it's is it Jubito just speed blitz and kills them before they can do anything? or would Madara be able to dodge because he has Sage Mode now, and Hashirama also has Sage Mode, and they can be able to still make a fusion in time and fight back against Jubito, It's interesting, so it is interesting.
Yeah.
And I'll just basically go from there, and technically, Madara can use Sage Mode as well. You know what I mean? He could just be like, hey, let me borrow some, bro, So, but I don't know. It could be really interesting. I think it can go either way, but I do think it still favors in Jubito,
Yeah.
That's just me. Like, now, and if someone is to get butthurt from that and be like, you're fucking crazy, Jubito, what shit, what? Cool, whatever. I'm literally not even disagreeing with that. I literally, I'm saying it favors with him. If I'm going to even pick a side to argue for, yeah, I'll pick Jubito. But, if you really think about it and you analyze what Naruto and Sasuke were able to do, why is it, unacceptable for Hashirama or Madara to do that when we know they're vastly more stronger than those two?
Yeah, I definitely, yes.
It's fucking stupid. So, but yeah, that's about it. But anyways, I'm gonna call it quits here, and what's it called? I'm gonna take a little mini break and try to get some things rolling. And this way I can get some of this stuff. I might do some reaction videos or something, and then read some manga and maybe some gaming for tonight, and then call it quits. It's gonna be. I'm not too sure.
Before you go,
what's up?
I fucking cannot wait for you to finally watch Boruto, so we can talk about Ishiki to the full extent, and then you can.
But let me guess. I guarantee you, this motherfucker. This motherfucker is all the way towards the end, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course. So I'm gonna have to be fucking miserable for like the first 2 or 3 halves. But all right.
Actually, no. Like there is some stupid shit. It's actually better than Naruto fillers for the most part, in my opinion. Like Boruto.
Well, be honest with me. Should I still watch the fillers or just stick to the main points?
You should watch some at least. There's definitely some that you should watch.
Okay, I'll just watch all of it. Fuck it, even if it fucking makes me want to shoot myself.
But it's not they're better in my opinion than Naruto fillers.
Really?
If we don't count Kakashi fillers and Itachi fillers.
Yeah, I'm about to say, because Itachi and Kakashi's, that shit's banging, bro.
Yeah, that is. Yeah,
it's so good. Like that type of shit. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna say it to this day. I even had a video, and eventually I'll make more episodes for this playlist. But it was titled Naruto Shinobi Legends, and it was Sakamo Hatake's Wasted Potential, basically. It's a really good video. A lot of people enjoyed it. And I was eventually going to do like a series with that and kind of just pull up some other characters that I wish we got to see more, such as like Tobirama or the first Hokage, or even with Kakasu, maybe with some interaction with him with the first Hokage, or better yet, even with Sakamo Hatake. I wish we could have, well, I already went over that. Never mind. But with fucking to even see Madara back in the days, kind of doing things. I wanted to see more with him. To see more with Minato. To see, well, we got to see a good bit with Minato. I can't really complain on that, but to even see, another good point, Fugaku. Why didn't I get to see him? Because that motherfucker was praised, and apparently he was really powerful. The Wicked Eye feared him on the nations, just like Minato was a candidate for the fourth Hokage. Yada, yada, yada. Like, he was no fucking joke, Like, even stated that he believed he could be able to control the Nine Tails and everything, too, and all this other shit. Like, he was no joke. You know what I mean? Like, he was really strong, yet we didn't get to see anything with him. We just got to, only see that he had a Mangekyo Sharingan. And out of all Mangekyo Sharingans, to this day, I think his is the most badass version of how it looks, at least. What's it called? So that's another character. Then you have the Kinkaku and Ginkaku incident with Tobirama. Like, I want to see some of that. I'm gonna be real with you. Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you. Kishimoto could have shown a lot. He could have shown a lot and made just a separate series right after Naruto Shippuden ended. He could have made, a series, whatever the fucking title is, okay, but I just made it for my own, like Naruto Shinobi Legends or whatever. I think that's a good title for it, right? And basically just went over certain points in the story or arcs or whatever that we never got to see, but only had so much info on, or things we never got to see, but there was a lot of hype around the character and whatever. That would have been really great because he could have dived and went into so many things that not only would have been amazing to watch and been very entertaining, but also to give us more to be able to scale and so on and so forth, and just to enjoy overall. Because at the end of the day, it is what it is. Naruto was mainly goated during the OG times. You know what I mean? Like the before times, or all that. Like that's when it was really, really cool and interesting to watch, in my opinion. And then it goes on and it's still good as it goes on, but it was really, really good during those points with the wars and everything, and so overall, like that would have just that would exactly
the Kages, the previous Kages.
Even the Hanzo versus the 3 legendary Saiyans. Can we get more on that and see why he was able to beat all 3 of them? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much that he could have been able to do with just one separate series of just covering that information that we don't know or didn't see. And there you go. That's it. And I'll be fine. Perfect, right? And then go into fucking Boruto. So,
But when you watch it finally, then you could be like, yeah, was I straight up capping and over-exaggerating? Or does Ishiki live up to the shit that I was talking about?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
The first thing I'm gonna fucking ask when you finally watch it, dude, I just wish I could show you the 2-minute fucking fight between him and Sasuke and Naruto, and they just wipe your memory.
I believe it. But hey, but no, I'm gonna end it here, and I'm gonna head out real quick, and then what's it called?
I had fun because I definitely did.
No, yeah, same, me too. And I'm not too sure. Thursday I'm off, so Thursday that's definitely a day we can definitely be able to hang and chat and do some similar shit that we did. But as for like any other day, it's gonna be really tough because I'm gonna be doing a lot of overtime on my job. So I'm not even sure, like, you know what I mean, like what times I'm gonna even be getting off. So if I'm ever free or available and I do get off at a good time or whatever, I'll hit you up, whatever. But I am gonna be working a lot, and I'm gonna be having to get up fucking early in the mornings and work all the way until like night. So I'm gonna be pretty like, you know what I mean, like I'm gonna be pretty exhausted and kind of fatigued out. But I'll still make time to do shit, But I don't know. I'm not too sure how it's gonna be. But at least for Thursday and Sundays. If you're ever ready and you're willing to go, we can vibe for some hours and have a good time talking or whatever. And then what I'll do, not either towards the end of July or in the beginning of August, I'll start watching Boruto. I'll start getting into it, and I'll just do I'll probably do like maybe 2 episodes a day, because I'm gonna like watch the episode and like while recording myself too. This way, people want to see my reaction or whatever, they can see it.
You want to do that?
Yeah. I'm gonna do that. It's for YouTube. It's a little bit more complicated because unfortunately, YouTube is an asshole.
And
copyright and everything. So like, it'll literally take me like 2 weeks to be able to release the video. Because basically, what happens is I post it, right? It's perfectly fine, not illegal or anything. It's under fair use. It's clearly my own, what thing, whatever you name it. And I'll have to dispute it, and then I'll have to appeal it. And that whole process takes 2 weeks. So meaning you guys would have to wait 2 fucking weeks to just see a reaction episode. And you know how many episodes there are in fucking Boruto and Naruto. You know what I mean? So like, so that shit is a no-go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a YouTube video, and it's basically an announcement video, and be like, hey, I'm going to start doing reaction videos for Naruto. What's it called? And it's going to be posted on my Twitch, on my stream. It's going to be highlights, so if you guys ever want to view it or whatever and watch it, you can. You're just going to have to go to my Twitch. I would post it on YouTube, but unfortunately there's always issues, and you guys would have to wait basically 14 weeks in order to see an episode reaction. So instead of just waiting, not 14 weeks, instead of just waiting 2 weeks, to see an episode reaction, you could just watch all of them on my Twitch, and I can do it and release it as fast as I want with no problems. You know what I mean? Because I don't think Twitch has any issues like that either.
You're gonna just fucking watch it, like your camera's gonna be there, but will be, or not you, but the fucking audience. If we could see the anime view.
Yeah. It's gonna be the anime and then the face cam and everything what's it called? It's just gonna be me reacting. But like, and that's what I'm gonna do. But YouTube, they don't give a fuck. They're still very, they're so annoying. So like what happened? So that's why it's annoying. And I wouldn't have any issue of disputing and going through that process regardless. But like, bro, you're talking about 14 days you gotta wait. And then 2, you want to know what happens within those 14 days? I get a strike. I'll literally get a copyright strike. And if you get 3, you lose your account. So guess what? I can only do 2 videos to appeal for. And after 14 days, then yeah, they'll take away the strike, or whatever. But I can only be able to do two videos, and you guys have to wait literally 14 days to see 2 videos because I'll have 2 strikes. And if I do another one, then I can't utilize my YouTube at all, and now there's no content being out or whatever, and then you guys would have to wait 14 days until my YouTube account is given back. Because I've been through the process already. They'll give it back. They gave it back to me, or they'll get rid of the strikes eventually. But the bottom line is the fact that I even have to go through any of that is ridiculous, and it's just not worth it. Like, I have no idea how actual YouTubers, make a living on fucking anime reactions, because I'll look up all these YouTube channels or all these other reacting people, and yet their videos are up and perfectly fine, or they're able to somehow, some way release them in a fast basis. Now, not all of them, though. I have seen some where they get taken down or they don't come back up until after 14 days or whatever. But bottom line is, fuck that. It's too stressful. It's too annoying. And then knowing my luck, I might be able to, the strikes will be taken away or whatever, and all that shit. But then out of nowhere, for some reason, they're like, you know what? No, we're not taking the strike away. And the moment that happens, I'm just not doing it, period. You know what I mean? The moment I get a strike, that's it for me. Like
for me, the reaction is whatever. Like, it would be cool to see, but since it's this serious, like the problems with this, it's whatever for me. But what I'm looking forward to is, of course, to talk about that shit with you.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. So, but either way, at least for you and for other people, you do want to even watch that for some reason or whatever, it will be on my Twitch. But for YouTube, what's it called? I haven't decided if I'm even going to go that route yet or not. I could, but who knows? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Because that could always, while I'm having other content coming out, then those videos will come out gradually or whatever, and that's fine. But bro, like, that's gonna take so long for that many episodes for me to react to come out. And by the time I even finish Boruto, bro, it's gonna be 2 years at that point.
Yeah.
The fuck. At least for posting it on YouTube. While on Twitch, I can just post as fast and as much as I want, make it as a highlight, and then and just make it basically a YouTube video announcement or whatever of that, hey, it's here. If you guys want to watch them, go for it. If not, cool. And maybe that'll finally start getting my Twitch followers and whatnot to increase and get that going for a change. But
if you start at the end of July, like, how long do you think it's gonna take for you to watch it? Not post videos if you don't around, but...
Yeah, no, just to watch, just normal, bro. Just 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Like fucking. I'll have moments where I might pause, maybe talk about something, maybe, or what's it called? Or if like something was really cool, and I'll react to it, like anyone else would. But it's not going to be nowhere near to the point of like reaction videos, like to people making Naruto videos and stuff like that. When you're watching something, you're not really there to talk all day with it. You're just there to watch it, give your reaction, maybe just like a 1 minute little talk reaction towards something that just happened or whatever. But that's about it. You know what I mean? So, and it just be normal reaction videos, and that's it. So that's something I have wanted to do, because I really do want to start getting more into anime and watching it more. It's just when it comes to time and my personal life and the responsibilities and so on and so forth, like, it's very hard to do that, and that's why I haven't really been able to start doing a reaction series for animes and stuff like that or whatever. But it is what it is, and that's it. Because once I do watch Boruto, I'm gonna do it for Naruto just one more time, just for shits and giggles. Not all the fillers, just the main points. What's it called? I might do the fillers too. Fuck it, it is what it is. But anyways, what's it called? But I'm gonna do it for those 2, and then once I see those 2, then I'm gonna start watching other animes like Death Note, Hero Academia, all these other animes that I heard that are really fucking good. So no matter what, Naruto will always be my favorite. I already know that, because I have seen other animes that I've watched in my own time. But you know, I'm kind of annoyed. You know what I mean? Like I want to see other animes. It'd be nice. So
Yeah.
fucking. Anyways, bro.
How long do you think it's gonna take for you to watch Boruto when you start? Like a fucking month or two, or?
Yeah, shouldn't take too long. How many episodes are there as of now?
As in now, it's 256.
36. Wait, it's not done yet.
No.
The fuck. Like, bro, you know how long I've been waiting for that shit to finish? That's the main reason why I haven't even watched it.
Dude, it's
I've been waiting for it to finish.
It's nowhere near close, man.
Oh my
Nowhere
god.
near close, man. It's the fillers are going now for like 30 episodes. It's been like that, and the manga is still going, and I'm waiting like every month, and they even have a fucking pause this month, so I have to wait till August.
Well, that's annoying because I'm gonna be real with you. With Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, I didn't watch that shit. And I waited. I said, nah, I'm gonna wait till Naruto Shippuden is done, you know. And then I decided to watch all of it. And same thing. Oh, but not really with Naruto because that started like in 2000 something. Like shit, I was like a fucking little kid at that point. Yeah. So when Naruto was already basically done, but Shippuden that was still in the works when I got as older as like a teenager and then eventually to an adult, you know. And what's it called? And that shit was still going, bro. And I was like, nope, I'm not watching it because I can't stand the fucking feeling of having to wait to see what happens next. That shit pisses me off.
But you can actually watch this because like the main thing ends with the arc that I was talking about, and then you have the fillers, and you don't have to watch those if you don't want. Like the last film has like 30 episodes, and by the time you start, there's gonna be more. But the next manga arc won't be getting like put into anime until like 2023. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like the beginning of the next year.
Yeah.
So I have to wait fucking 5 months. 5 months of fillers. More and dude, the fillers have been going on since October last year.
Oh my god.
That's where the fucking arc ended. The episode 220. That was the last.
Why are they doing it that long for fillers, bro?
Because they have.
Is it even good?
What, the fillers?
Yeah.
Like not that good. There's so much questionable shit, and the power scaling in holy.
I heard it's horrendous.
Dude, every time it's filler, every time it's fucking filler. Holy shit, dude! It's bad. It's so bad. Sometimes even in the manga stuff, but that's more rare.
You know what that means? That means my reactions are going to be very entertaining because you know me. The moment I see some bullshit, I call that shit out, bro.
Yeah.
I'm be pissed.
Yeah.
So,
like, I'm gonna give you an example, like real quick.
Okay.
Imagine Boruto hitting a Rasengan on a guy that is a pirate, like a normal fucking dude. And based on what you've seen in the anime, like you didn't see it, but I did, like as a fucking audience, right? That shit should have went straight through him, fucking blew him up, and it did nothing, man. It only like fucking knocked him away, like to the fucking background. Like it was a far distance, like pretty good, but that shit should have blew him up.
The only the only thing I'll say on that though is ninja do have the ability to hold back and restrain their techniques from not like completely just killing someone. Like for instance, Jiraiya did that. Jiraiya did that on those gang members in Naruto. Like, and that was like not a filler point either.
Yeah, but at that point,
the guy just spinned away. You know what I mean? Oh, he was bloodlusted.
Yeah, he was bloodlusted. He went like full ape shit at that point. Yeah.
Oh my god. That's just bad for him then.
Yeah, it is. Even though it doesn't fucking make sense. Because then you see other instances where it makes sense, where it actually makes sense, and a lot of people argue about it. There's even dumbasses who claim that it was actually Boruto who fucking defeated Ishiki, and I will, yeah, definitely, yeah. fucking sarcasm over 100, man.
Oh man,
Like, if I were to tell you what he did to Boruto, you wouldn't believe me, man.
I believe it.
Like,
Without even hearing it, I believe it.
like, of course Boruto didn't stand a chance, like, that's clear, but he actually fucking dogged him so bad he couldn't move.
Oh my god.
Wanna hear it?
No,
Like,
I'm good. I'm good.
alright.
but
Like,
but
like,
I believe it though.
imagine fucking absolutely getting done, and there's these guys who claim that it was actually Boruto who had defeated Ishiki. I was like, oh my fucking god, I cannot hear it. Like, and they always base this off because of one fight that happened, right?
Yeah,
That is canon, and it's one of the best fights in the fucking universe as a whole. I cannot wait
gotcha.
for you to see that. It's with the other Otsutsuki, right?
Mm,
And Boruto helped in that fight, but like almost everything was done by Naruto and Sasuke, and
yeah,
only because Boruto was able to uh defeat the guy in a fucking Rasengan contest, the Rasengan that Naruto fucking amped before, and they always say this stupid shit that he was stronger than him, that he was keep up, even though Sasuke set up everything before he did that.
gotcha.
And even before that, they straight up fought him 2-on-1. Naruto and Sasuke versus that guy. And
Yeah.
that fight is something else. Like, I cannot wait for you to see that.
No, I believe it. But all right, man. I'm gonna head out though.
That is
What's it
before
called?
Ishiki.
No, I get it. But I'm gonna head out and I'll keep
Yeah,
in touch and whatnot.
hope you had fun. I did. It was great for me.
All right, man.
Alright.
Peace.
See ya. See ya. See ya.